Okay.
So, just to kind of, if we imagine, okay, everybody take out your imaginary chalkboard, okay? And we've got a timeline on that of 6 months, right?
Yes.
Right now, we've got a few kind of loose, unattached things people want to do, and a few things that are anchored onto that timeline. So, for example, I think Asmodean is definitely the best place to start. Because the first thing that Asmodean does is read his book, and that happens.
Yeah, really did that.
Hatsu, how much of this were you here for? Because this was all at the end after the last session when I think you went off pretty early.
Well, I went off like a little bit early. You guys stayed after like an hour.
We played for like another, played in
we
very
did
loose
like
terms.
another hour and a half, yeah.
It was played in very loose terms. It's basically more of this.
Yeah.
So none of it, I guess.
Right. So Asmodean read his book, and rolled really high on his DC with some effect stacking, like inspirations and. Oh, you were standing by him, by the way, just for like the fucking like radiator of the
buff
DC
radiator.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's like, hey Hatsu, a little more to the left. Perfect. Okay, let's go.
So silly.
God, it's like so funny to imagine that in setting because it's just like, oh, I feel good. Oh, Kieran's here. it's like that sweet spot of like, hey, Kieran, one step forward.
Yeah,
One
you're
step
blocking
back.
the sun now.
Yeah. And yeah, Asmodean succeeded. His intelligence score increased past the natural human limits.
It's fucking 22 now.
Yeah,
22 motherfuckers. Yeah.
It's
Have
kind
a
of
new
the
eye.
no, but the instant death effect was actually more of just this massive overload of information that would kill most normal people, which Asmodean managed to contain it within his mind palace. His mind palace expanded by like 3 levels. And within this is a massive repository of forbidden knowledge regarding like
Evil stuff.
kind
Very
of,
evil
yeah,
stuff.
kind of. So like, for example, a really good example would be things like mind flayers, or like demon related stuff. And it's not knowledge that he necessarily has 100% access to all the time, but he can make I'll probably get this written out for you at some point. If you want to make a knowledge check to access this forbidden knowledge, you'll have to make a wisdom save to do so.
Oh god.
Because even though you still have it and your mind is expanded, it's still very oogie boogie in there.
Go to a dark place to get it.
Another thing that I think Hatsu missed on was the deciphering of the prophecy. Well, a layer of the prophecy anyway.
Oh yeah. Took me a fucking
which is the next 2 months from that point. So the book was more or less the same, like the first week after getting back. Oh, the other thing we need to do is the council meeting.
Yeah.
Which we can do tonight. I haven't prepped for it, but that's fine. Okay. So Asmodean then spent 2 months working on the prophecy, which turned out to be this like massively decoded.
So we went back home, I guess.
Yeah, you guys.
Okay,
you guys,
that's
Just teleported.
Yeah.
2 months is like a thing, so I'm like, did we just go home or what happened?
I just went to the.
Oh, did you miss the teleport out as well?
Yep.
Okay, right. So before that, Mila went to Surimandamala and reported, like pretty much immediately, the first place Mila went from landing in the tree was to Surimandamala, reported everything that had happened, and they made the call that, okay, we need to get out of here immediately, we need to stop. Whatever happens from this point, the less we interfere, the better. So we're going to teleport immediately out and report directly to the Council of Six, because it's their legal duty to report something of this scale directly to them as fast as possible, because not doing so increases a lot of liability down the line that they don't want to deal with.
Fair.
Technically, withholding that kind of information is seen as like treason, basically. So the easiest way to deal with it is just to hand over the information and wash your hands of it. So you've all been teleported to the main council building, this massive kind of very it's basically like the Congress building of Midrealm in the capital. It's this huge government building where the Council of Six meet, and you'll be kind of having a very impromptu meeting, like an emergency meeting with the council, to basically hand over all of this knowledge and probably get some questions as well. And then from that point, you're free to go. So kind of just assume you went back home to Middleton, all scattered to do various things. So from there, first thing people do when getting back home was smuggling the book. And then from there, people can go any direction they want, basically.
Cool.
Yeah. So actually, let's get that started. Let's do that first things first. So, you've all teleported into this fairly standard layout teleportation chamber. Sreem goes ahead to kind of get someone's attention and start, scheduling this emergency meeting. And the rest of the party is kind of escorted into a fairly typical like waiting room, kind of like a bureaucratic waiting room. There's more of that sparkle water. Although keep in mind, you've still all got the same level of fatigue from the battle that you had. Like that battle happened like less than an hour ago. Flynn still paralyzed from the waist down. All of your spells are still missing. All of your health is still missing. It's very much kind of like the Avengers at the end of Avengers getting shawarma. This is kind of the cooldown period, I think. Letting the adrenaline kind of pass through. I am still eating my chippy tea, by the way, so there will be munch breaks.
Sure.
During that.
We will not munch and talk instead.
Yeah, so it's probably going to be about 30 minutes to get this meeting set up, so you definitely have time to group talk, and you're all there as well.
Well, that was something, wasn't it?
That was terrible.
Certainly not what I was expecting when I signed up for this.
What were you expecting?
Not that. Some difficulties with the executions, perhaps, but, didn't expect the king to have that much power. Neither did I expect Lady Mytasian to have that amount of power. It was not in the script at all.
Rarely do we do things that stay on script.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's something I'll have to get used to. Certainly not an average bunch of adventurers, that's for certain.
Neither are you.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but you're not wrong. And as I'm saying this, I'm sat down at a table with everybody, I imagine, and I'm just as soon as people's drinks drop below halfway, I'm just topping it back up with the fancy ass wine. I've got my bag because I know people, I know the look of people who need a drink when it's.
I'm only very lightly sipping.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I told you, we knew Dave wasn't shit.
Wait, what? Why?
There was a he spoke to somebody on the phone before, and before he muted himself. It's pretty serious.
Something that
Hmm.
happened today.
Oh, what at work?
Mm-hmm.
That's the impression I got, but we only heard like a sentence. So.
Yeah. But I'm more so joking that he's in shit than anything else.
Oh, fingers crossed for him.
Yeah.
We'll catch him up when he gets back. He says he'll be back soon, though. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Chippy's gone. Yeah, keep talking.
So many things I want to do, but I can't do them today.
Oh, I'm the opposite problem. I want to do so many things, but I'm not sure what.
Well, I guess this will be the. Well, seeing as how Kieran wasn't in the room when we discussed this, but we had a little vote on whether you wanted me to stay in this group permanently. I would be interested in hearing your thoughts.
Doesn't matter to me.
Oh.
As I said before, we don't have to like each other, but we do have to respect what each other can bring to the table.
I would prefer we like
There was
each
also
other.
a vote on Mila joining the party, which was unanimous yes.
Kieran doesn't care, literally. So
And I think that kind of has to hurt for Mila, not being given a second part.
Why don't you care?
why does it matter? She's here. Good for her.
Okay.
What do you want me to say?
I don't know.
Just thought you'd have more of an opinion with who you choose to, for whom you choose to spend time with.
Well, we're not about to start going on dates or anything, so does it really matter?
Well, but we do have to work with one another for extended periods of time.
We've already done as such, and it's been fine.
So
Very well then.
you're an affirmative then.
Yeah, I guess. It doesn't matter.
Good enough for me.
If you want me to go make her a cake or something, I will. Doesn't really fucking
I wouldn't
matter,
eat
though.
it. Don't worry about it. Not really a
What?
cake kind of person.
I'd like a cake.
I'll make you a cake.
I get the impression
Thank
Mila's
you.
like kale and water diet.
She does like sweet things, but it's a very occasional thing.
The only calories in her diet is alcohol.
I just think I keep topping everybody's wine up.
The fucking like vodka mum.
Well, that being the case, then I would be looking to set up shop in Middleton. If well, seeing as how you're now lords of Middleton, or rulers of Middleton, perhaps you could help me acquiring some property. Nothing too extravagant, mind. Just a simple two-story building. That's all I ask for. I'll refurbish it. Do any?
Simple Tuesday.
Mhm. Well, I only really need a room for myself, room for my butler, friend of the family. I'll be talking father into letting me take his services on. His name's Chauncey.
Of course
Yes.
it is.
Yes. Just say a bedroom for me, office space, living room, and a bedroom for Chauncey, and a kitchen and a bathroom, and that's about.
And a study.
Just one bathroom.
Yes.
That's
well.
true.
Well, Chauncey's not going to be using it.
An
Based on
upstairs
Mila's
bathroom or a
diet.
downstairs bathroom. This concept of single bathrooms is. Sorry, I'm role playing a posh person.
Actually, no. Yes, my inner thoughts do have a point there. Two bathrooms would be much better.
And a washroom, a boot room, cloakroom. Of course, a porch, pantry, servants'
Jacuzzi.
quarters, of course.
Well, that's not quite as strung up as many of my kindred, I guess would be the word to say. I've spent a lot of time roughing it in fields and sleeping in tents and living off rations in the fields and whatnot while I've been a member of the Adventurers Guild. I don't need anything too extravagant, really.
Okay, so like,
You might be the only one of all of your
Two-room.
siblings who could say that.
Well, I'm the special one of all my siblings. Two of them are still in school. One of them has been excluded from the family, and the other one is a horse. So,
a horse.
a whore.
Don't like horses.
We don't like horses here.
Well,
Horses are okay though.
Very specific horses.
I mean, I ride
yeah,
a giant tiger, so it's whatever.
I forget about that.
Yup.
Wait, do you still have it?
I mean, I can summon him whenever I want to.
Oh.
It's a spell.
Ah.
Find greater steed.
Dusty stands up. And then just starts walking there.
Pacing.
Not even pacing.
Did I
just
send you
like
that info on my?
just random movement.
Did I send you that info on my family? Like that I mentioned to you not so long ago. Like it's just like a basic thing, like just names
Sounds
and what the
vaguely
other things are.
familiar.
Obviously, you can change whatever you want, but I'll just. Oops, I didn't copy and paste that properly. Beyond all play ball.
I'll say at this point, Sareem enters the room again with a few, a few guard-looking people, union workers. They kind of, they need to be there, and okay.
What time?
Night. Yeah, night. Like
Damn it.
probably very early morning.
Oh, okay. Okay, damn. Dusty paces more.
For goodness sake, Dusty, sit down. You're making the place look untidy.
Is it
Have a-
untidy?
Have a wine, relax. There's a lot of waiting involved in these kinds of meetings. They can't just be summoned immediately. They'll all be in bed.
I don't care about them.
Oh,
I want to buy
what are you
things.
pacing for? You want to buy things,
I need to buy things.
such as...
Ivory.
And you need that at 2 o'clock in the morning. Why?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to stop talking to Dusty now. Kyogen, would you like a top?
Excuse me, what?
Would you like a topple?
A topple?
Yes, please.
Do you know what? You know what? And then she produces. She grabs her purse and she just produces another 2 bottles of wine and just hands one to Kieran and one to Kyogen.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
That was definitely out of character, but okay.
No, it's Miliana very much notices that you guys are all stressed out, and she knows that you guys are big drinkers. So it's just like everybody just sit down and fucking relax, kind of thing.
Get shit faced.
Yes, yes. Don't get too whatever. I know you'll behave yourselves. So
Do you know that?
well, you've behaved yourselves so far.
Have we?
I don't
Yes.
think you've met. I don't think you spent enough time with Dusty.
No, Dusty was very respectful at the meeting. Remember in the prince's house?
Dusty is just walking around the room, constantly changing the color of his eyes. Like every
Now this I
2
haven't
seconds.
seen. I look over to Asmoni, like, is this normal? Does he do that all the time?
It's Dusty.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's interesting. Wait, is he using Thaumaturgy?
Yeah.
Have I got that spell? Hang on.
Don't think you do.
I do. I'm gonna start. Just to wind him up a little bit. I'm gonna start doing it.
Not even looking at you.
Meliana has amused herself with this.
It's fun, right?
Hmm?
Okay, so, yeah, Serene enters with some guards and a very formally dressed dwarf, who introduced himself as Magnus Beakback.
Wow, what a name!
How many beaks does he have on his back? Nothing. That's silly. How many beaks does he have on his back?
No beaks on his back. It's an honorary title.
All lies.
Okay.
Magnus introduced himself as the Speaker of the House, which is a pretty famous, pretty well-known political position. It's a position that's supposed to be kind of the neutral arbitrator between all six members of the council, and their many members of parliament equivalent. So he introduced himself. I'll say most of you, unless you're completely oblivious about politics, know who this is.
That would be me.
His stature is probably about the same level as any of the main six council heads. And he kind of just very quickly runs through a very quick run through of the story, just kind of getting details lined up, and then asks you to follow him as Brooke digs up very old setting notes to see if I have any names for the heads of the councils.
Barry, Jim, John, and Dave.
No, it won't be in there. Okay. Oh, that's nothing. Okay. Right. In that case, so the six councillors. I'm sure I have it somewhere, but it'll take a while to find it, so I'm just going to go.
Okay.
So the councillor for Novu Domino, which you know is the province that borders Haven. This is one of the two human led council provinces. And their leader is Sigrid Ironside. I think I need that. The next is Signum. which is just check. That would be you. That would be you. That would be you. That'd be you. Signum is the second human council, and that's led by Praetor, Theodore. Yeah, it's definitely it's the it's basically like bishop. It's it's like the religious heads of Truthfell, and Signum is a very religiously focused province. It basically borders the Holy Land as far as Truthfell is concerned.
Sorry, I thought it was a name, so I cut you off.
No. Praetor Theodore Reed, doubly. Next is Roven, which is a dwarven province. That
Can you hear
is
me?
yeah, I can hear.
Sorry, yeah, I was having problems with my microphone there. My bad.
Roven is the province that borders the Ragelands and is the military-focused province. That's Roderick.
White Watch.
Roderick Mandalay. Next is Terra Majest, which is the largest province and the one that kind of theoretically contains... Well, it contains Middleton. Also theoretically contains the capital, although the capital is technically considered its own separate province because it's that big.
So it surrounds capital.
It shares the most border with the capital for sure. I think, if I remember my map, the capital is my rap.
Capital rap, let's go.
The capital is kind of sandwiched between Terra Majest and Roven, if I remember the map correctly. I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, actually, yes, that's right. I remember it.
Terra Majest is Lord. Lord.
Fancy pants?
Lord Germain.
Germain.
Yeah, Germain. Germain Bronzehalf. Which is a very old-fashioned dwarven name, which have very much... Names like that have very much fallen out of favor in the dwarven community. And finally, we have province of Arn, A-N, which is the Elven province. And this is the council that you guys are probably the most, at this point, the most allied with.
Oh, because of the bank.
Yeah. And that's Lady Lady Galen. No, that'll be the last name. Galen. Lady Myrova Galen. And the last one is Westfell. which is the council headed by the Little Folk. It's the province that borders Kubla. And that's led by Rocky Bamberton. There we go. Sorry that took a while. I wish
It's alright.
I had. Yeah, I should have thought about that. I completely forgot about this council meeting, but it's about time that you guys are formally introduced to the government
Whew, scary.
and have some names as well. Okay, so most of these people will have been sleeping and gathered for this emergency meeting. Ah, perfect. Oh, that's good to know, Keo.
Yeah, put together a little.
Yeah. There'll definitely be a chance for this to come up, though, and we can kind of fit this into the timeline.
Cool.
Okay. So, you're brought into a kind of almost like an amphitheater that would it definitely would remind, you know, anyone of like the British Parliament or Congress or like the UN building.
Order.
There is a floor. So, well, obviously there's a floor, but there's like, you know, like
What
a
is floor?
central area where an open area in the middle, which is circular, and there are 6 clearly divided segments of the stands that go around in this circle, and these are mostly empty right now, but you do see that there are you know, some, I'd say maybe about 20%, maybe a little less. Probably more like 10% of the seats are filled. The quarter at the 6th segment, which has the highest attendance, is the elves. Probably because this is both an elven matter and also because elves are the fastest riders and the people who are probably the lightest sleepers, so to speak.
Yeah.
You're not quite sure which of those 2 factors contributed more. And yeah, all six members of the Council of 6 are present, and they each hold. They each have their own chair. So the elven chair is really ornate and wooden, made of white, very like Tolkien-esque, elegant white wood. The West Fell chair is very comfy, kind of looks like almost like a lazy boy, but more formal than that. But it's definitely like deep, and you can tell that like Rocky is kind of he's probably like a 40-year-old halfling who looks almost fast asleep in this deep, comfy leather chair.
I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah, the little folk. To people who would know, the little folk have a bit of a reputation for not taking politics as seriously as the dwarves, humans, and elves would like. But they do represent a large enough chunk of the population to have a seat on the council, and you know, do participate, just maybe not to the standard desired. And the human and dwarf chairs are kind of more, you know, more typical looking throne kind of variants, more stone and metals involved. But I'm not talking about chairs for 20 minutes.
Stonework?
Dwarven stonework, though, it's kind of your favorite and least favorite things colliding.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Sureem, and you do get the impression this is of your kind of Mulder and Scully-esque handlers. Namala definitely seems to be the kind of shot caller in the field, and Sareem is the paperwork guy. And he's the one who's been organizing this meeting. He's already up there, kind of addressing the council. And he beckons you forward to the center of this floor. And just
I'll
so
lead
you're
the
not
way.
feeling, just so you're not feeling awkward, kind of sat there. The speaker just immediately, once you're all kind of in the middle of the floor, and it's a bit intimidating, your situation, but the battle fatigue and the fact that the amphitheater is almost empty and half the people that are even there look half asleep. We're probably talking like 4 a.m. right now.
Okay.
It's kind of taking the edge off the oh shit, kind of like formal speaking anxiety. And the speaker just kind of kicks straight in. This is very much his job to intermediate. And he introduces sirs and madams of the Council of Six. I introduce adventuring guild party known as the Hounds of Middleton, which are reporting back after a very eventful mission to the Kingdom of Thrice, and they claim to have incredibly sensitive information regarding the King of Thrice, the death of the King of Thrice, and many natures of the royal bloodline and the internal politics of that nation, which we now believe may be possibly in turmoil. Given the incendiary nature of our relationship with Thrice and the independent nation of Haven, I have agreed with council member Serene Whisperwoods. There you go, free surname if I haven't given it already. I probably have.
I don't believe you have.
Don't think
I'm
so.
not sure. I don't know, but there you go, Whisperwood. That an emergency council meeting is more than necessitated by these events. Please, would a member of your party be willing to speak before the council to elucidate these happenings?
I could go if you want.
Yes, please. Lady Miliana of the House
Alariel.
Alariel. Please. The floor is yours.
Where would you like me to begin?
And you go from there.
Yeah.
We're not gonna. Because it's a lot of details. How
Do
much?
you miss everything out?
Yeah, here's a good question. Anything you miss out?
Absolutely not. No.
Is there anything that Mila would be unaware of, or maybe kind of miss the significance of? I'm gonna have a think about this as well.
I would open up a question to the party as well if you think there's something that Mila wouldn't be aware of.
How much of the Lady Mytassian stuff do you reveal?
Oh, everything.
That's what I wondered.
Does
after-
anybody is anybody in the party hesitant? Because there would be opportunity, like with Mytassian. Like, let's say Mila's getting to the point where, like, some of the Mytassian stuff starts coming up, like, the betrayal or the fact that she pulled kind of the heart of the king out and absorbed it. If any of those details are coming up and you think it would be a good idea to withhold those, you can always just kick the back of her foot and kind of interject, so there's definitely an opportunity here for a party member to intercede if there's any details you think might be best left out. Which then, of course, Mila can react to.
Pretty much as soon as Dusty walked in, he realized, oh shit, we probably should have talked about this. Like, how much we want to share.
Yeah, what's the downside?
I do believe that the rest of the party has telepathic earrings.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, that's true.
So you can have a light version of that discussion now. During kind of like while Mila's talking about the journey to like the month-long trek to Thrice.
And then there
There
was a
was a-
giant worm.
Yeah.
How much do we say about White House?
Well, what would the reason be to withhold anything?
Yeah.
What if they
Yeah, that's my
think
thought too.
she's? What if they think she's evil or an enemy?
She could
That's
be.
That's their
She-
problem.
She might be.
Yeah, that's their
Them
She
problem.
to
very
decide,
well
not
could
us.
be. Just because she helped us doesn't make her good.
That's for the council to decide, not for us to decide.
We can. Everybody decides.
Nevertheless, I do have a job. My job here was to go on the mission, glean as much information as I could, and bring it back with me and report to the council. It would be a dereliction of duty if I were to do otherwise.
Yeah, Keo doesn't
If
say
there's
anything
anything
more.
specific you want to
By
hold
the
back-
way,
Hmm.
just so you guys are aware, you have been given the go-ahead to reveal the nature of the reason you were there.
So
Oh,
we're not
right.
limited by the contract.
In this situation, you have been given the go-ahead to release that information. That definitely came down while you were in the waiting room. That kind of came down from Lady Garland herself. That's a very kind of high-level decision to make, and the Elven Council is definitely kind of showing a little bit of their hand here. Wouldn't be the first time something like this happens. You know, like this is very much standard affair.
Mm-hmm.
For the council, and that's kind of like an internal political power struggle that isn't necessarily your guys' business to worry about at this point in time. But that would have been, if that wasn't cleared up, that would have been kind of a huge sticking point. Is the fact that like it would have been incredibly incriminating to you guys, the fact that you couldn't reveal, you know, like 50% or more of the story, including what actually went down up at the top. So, yeah, you don't have to worry about that much.
Okay. I don't want them to think White House is an enemy.
I don't think we can control what they think about her. We can
We
just
can
tell them
control
what
We
happened.
tell them.
Dusty, you can always, you know, testify now to her nature if you believe that's something that Dusty would want to do.
That's true.
Like the time for
Yeah.
that will come up because,
Yeah.
so at certain points in the story, certain council members do ask questions. So let me think. I think the first thing that would come up early on would be discussion of the nature of the mission. That would probably be the first thing that's discussed, and a few questions would probably come about from that. So I think the first thing that's the first thing that would be asked would be by Lord Germain, who would very quickly kind of want to get to the bottom of. So, how exactly did you guys find yourselves in the service of the Elven Council? How did that come about? Was it before or after your performance in the Royale?
Did,
For me,
did
it
we
was
already have
before.
contact? I think we already had contact with them because of the business I did with the business, right? At Milton, or not?
Yeah, back when Bogador was still in the party, you were invited to a secret meeting in the bank,
Yeah, do you want to talk about
and
that though?
we would. I'm just saying this as David, not as Miliana. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I
you
was
guys
thinking
were
that.
invited. The
Myself.
bank offered you some like beneath the table kind of work. That was a
Mhm.
couple. That was before the Royale.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me personally, it was before my appearance in the Royale.
And are you guys filling
Oh,
that
and the
detail
melee.
in? Because
It was
it would have to be like one of the OG members of the party who would fill that detail in, because I think that's pre Keo as well. Possibly pre Flynn.
I just tell that we
not
had
sure.
a business in Middleton, and I learned that's how we met. I don't try and talk that they wanted us for other business. Just saying that because I set up a business in Middleton. That's how we got into contact. Just
Yeah, and we
kind of
also
that
like
way.
just used the bank.
So, I feel like
And,
you're missing details out here. How does a simple business loan turn into a contract such as this?
It was after.
That was after our win in.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so you were approached by agents of the Elven Council after your win in the Royale.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay, good to know.
Correct.
Please continue. So from that point, they probably would keep quiet for a while now, especially during the journey. Everything up to and including the dragon fight.
We got the journey. Oh, worm.
Yeah, the worm.
worm.
I
They
did
don't
not
care
leave
about
that
the
house.
worm. Yeah, they don't particularly care about that.
We did.
I definitely think the next point of interest would be the prince's involvement. So you say that Crown Prince Tundlif himself was directly involved with this plot.
It would appear that way, yes.
And now he addresses Sareem, and he says, Councillor Sareem, how exactly did that acquaintance come to pass? Who contacted who first? And Sareem, he looks up to Lady Garland, kind of almost by like habit, and she gives a very small nod, and then he continues and says, we were directly approached by members of Prince Tundalif's faction during
Insight check.
yeah, go for it.
16?
It's a very earnest retelling.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, Sareem's a spy, so you know, you don't really know what his capacity for deception is, but at the very least, it is a very earnest account here. He says that while during a very standard diplomatic banking meeting between the Elven Bank and the Frisian Treasury, they were contacted by members of this faction, at which point we learned that the prince was involved, but he himself did not personally show himself until we, and he kind of gestures to the lot of you, until we actually arrived on the mission in Thrice. The conspirators were fairly numerous. There was about a dozen high-ranking members of the royal court, members of staff in both the town guard and the citadel itself, including a few anonymous diplomats who were providing essential information. I suppose now we can hypothesize that Lady Mytasian herself most likely orchestrated the whole thing, but I think that will become more apparent as the story progresses. And yeah, from there the story does progress. I would say up until the point. Yeah, here's a really important question. You talk about finding the hidden walls, and it's up to the point now where you're sneaking up to the king's chambers. Hey, Dave.
Welcome back.
The party right now is currently giving their account of what happened to the Council of Six back in the capital. So yeah, so there's no more questions now until the part where you're literally on your way now, like Kieran's in bat form, sneaking to the king's quarters. Do you, Mila, mention the prophecy?
No,
That's what I
definitely
was
not.
just
That
gonna
is
say,
the
yeah.
one thing I would definitely leave out.
I
Is
would send
everybody
over the
kind
earring
of
as well.
I just forget about it.
I think
No,
Merlin might be kind of checked out a little at this point. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Kieran's checked
Oh,
out.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm fucking hyper.
You're always hyper.
Kind
Yeah,
of.
like that part, like when we started advancing and we figured out the puzzle to actually get to the king's room, like that little detour, completely just skipped over that.
Yeah.
And then Asmodean popped his head through the door and the battle began.
Just for good measure, Mila, make a deception check.
Okay.
Even though you're not technically
16.
lying. Okay. Yeah.
That I am
No,
concealing information.
You are concealing information in a room of politicians who are paying attention. Who even the slightest bit of hesitation in leaving out information could be picked upon. With a 16, not likely. But yeah, if you had rolled low there, then maybe someone could have picked up on the fact that you don't seem like you're telling the whole story here, you know? So yeah, so you're at the Oh no, rewind. They definitely would have asked questions about my Tassian.
Oh, by the way, I'm leaving out the part that is thought. Actually, I'm going to leave out the part with the reality marble and Fiona getting, because I feel like that's something I would want to talk to Dusty myself about before I mentioned anything. So, yeah, I'm definitely gonna leave that part out.
Dusty doesn't know what happened, actually. I just remember.
Yeah, at this point, Dusty doesn't know. He'll need to be informed about that bit.
Yeah, that was my thinking. Like, I would want to bring that up to him and be like, "So, why'd you think that happened?" We'll talk about it.
So it's at this point that Lady Mytassian made her involvement known to you.
Yes.
Was this was not part of the plan, I assume? This was the first time.
Reality mob?
Yeah, this is. Yeah,
yes,
this is kind of
We were not intending to fight anybody. We had just been done with the battle against the Shadow Dragon or the Undead Dragon, and we were having a post-battle meeting where we were confronted with this, and she'd been sat at the table the entire time, listening to our conversation. Well, looking at us having a conversation. Yes, listening to our conversation. I would just.
Didn't we?
I'm not going to mention. I'm not going to mention the ring. I'm not going to mention the rings. I'm just gonna. I would say straightforward that, like, and yes, and she was sat at the table listening to us the entire time. The first time we were made aware of her powers.
And you say that she drew you into this magical artifact known as Reality Marble, correct?
Correct, yes.
At this point, I think probably Lord Germain, who I think at this point you get the impression that Lord Germain kind of the face of the whole thing that happens here. Like, you know, he is the
Is he the halfling?
He's the dwarf.
Oh, okay.
He's your council leader. He is the Middleton councillor. And I think I need to come up with a better title than council leader because
Lord Council.
There are
Council head?
maybe Lord Council. I'm not entirely sure because there are councillors. Like Sareem is a councillor. Sareem's like an MP as well. So there's definitely like I like the rank of councillor for being like the members of parliament. There definitely needs to be like a council head title. I'll think of that later.
And the way some councils do it
maybe,
is that they like appoint a new like council lead for like every meeting.
Oh, it's not that. It's not that. There's definitely like these are basically the the 6 lords that rule this nation, and they are elected from within the council every 4 years. There's an internal election, but their seats are really kind of like it's a position of enough significance that you need someone to be in the chair for a while to kind of get stuff done. You need a term, basically. Okay, so yeah, so Lord Germain kind of addressing the other 5 councillors says, these reality marbles are artifacts that we are already aware of. As corroborated by the group, it is known that one of these marbles is in possession of one of the 6 councils of Midrealm, although currently the ownership of this marble has not been claimed by any of the parties. It is council knowledge that it is definitely somewhere within the council.
Wait,
Just
you don't
to
know
clarify.
where?
No, it's fairly common practice to keep certain secrets, including artifacts of great significance.
Why do you have it?
I personally don't have it,
mean-
but whoever does has it for any
Oh.
reason, for the same reason anyone has power. It's a tool. It's useful.
I want to cast the spell so bad.
Detect magic. Boom. Everything lights up.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. You can see, if anyone's paying attention, maybe as Merlian, there's runes. There's very subtle and very well crafted minor rune work, kind of all over the place here. This is a very magically fortified location. Mostly just because politicians will fucking use any trick in the book to spy, cheat, or fucking get any advantage they can. So they've really had to put this place on magical lockdown. This place is like a magical void. Any spell casting in here will be pinged. Which I think Asmodean is just another system that you desperately want to test.
Oh god.
with your eye, which is something you might be thinking of in this situation, but
I could test it. Yeah, true.
yeah. It might not be the best idea, but when's that ever stopped you?
Oh god. Nope. Not gonna do it.
For
I am too
science!
tired. I don't have any magic slots. Nothing.
You don't want to give
Uh,
away the
cantrip.
secret of your...
I can do a canter.
Pew pew.
I got thaumaturgy and open all the doors and windows.
Bwah, bwah, bwah,
With my
lockdown.
mind. With my mind.
Okay, so Lady Mytasia makes this known. She contains, she wields one of these artifacts known as Reality Marble. This was not known. The location of 4 marbles had been identified previously. The one held by Jockin, the one held by the king, which we now have learned that is actually wielded by his personal protector. The one that had been sold to Kubler, and the one that had been given to us.
It is claimed that Jockin is the inventor of said marbles as well. I don't know if that information is helpful to you at all.
That is the current belief. Jockin and Mytasian are both significant people of interest within the Kingdom of Thrice. Being spellcasters of legendary age and accomplishment, they're certainly people that we've been following as closely as possible. Thrice is difficult to get information in and out of, but we've done our best to keep tracks on these people, and they've been up to. But we were not aware that there had been a creation of a 5th marble. Typically, Jockin is able to make these things once every 2 or 3 decades. He must have significantly expedited the process to have been able to make a 5th within this time frame. Mytasian's marble if it's not Jocken's previous marble, would most likely have been made within a single decade.
So that means more will start popping up.
Well, they still pop up on a timescale of several years, but we do believe that it's most likely that there are no more than 5. It's fairly surprising that he was even able to make a 5th so quickly. Being able to make any more than that would be hard to believe, especially considering the power of these artifacts. But this was good information.
He's no longer in the king's employ. If that means anything to you, he left the scene not long after. But we'll get to that eventually.
Yes, please continue. And you continue. The fight with the giants in the marble. Make another deception check to conceal the. This will be a slightly higher DC because I think the question of where the marble went would definitely maybe come up.
Why am I proficient in deception? Do you think that'd be my ball game, wouldn't you? But oh well. Oh shit, that's an ace.
Okay, so during this point, you kind of brush over it, like what happened to the marble. But at this point, I think probably Praetor Reed will interject, and he's the most elderly member. Well, excluding elves, God knows, but he's the most elderly physically member of the council, and he says, "Excuse me."
Yes, my lord.
I don't believe you mentioned what happened to the giant's marble.
Difficult to say, really, in the chaos of battle.
I can just say I think I could just say because I have no idea what the big person was, right? Just out of character, I don't know who that person was.
Probably not, actually.
No,
yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah, I have no idea that's Fianna. I was like,
and you haven't discussed it either yet.
No, yeah. So I would just say, well, it was kind of weird. Like some giant came walking up and just grabbed it and then disappeared.
I had already been wounded quite heavily at this point, so I was taking care of myself.
Like his spirit?
Sir Asmodean, would you please clarify at which point did a giant walk up and take it? This is a separate giant to Unamog, the executioner.
After the battle.
Yeah, after the battle, after he died, I think the marble was floating or something. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
it was some sort of weird divine presence.
And then yeah, I don't know. It was a big thing. I just described the person. I just described the person that I have no idea that this is someone, but I just described the person.
Dusty's sweating a little here, I think.
Was it like Unamarg's soul?
Was it like what, sorry?
Unamarg's soul?
No. I described the person. I described who walked up.
So a giant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. That
Maybe
is
it's tied to the
most
soul.
puzzling. Is this an aspect of the story that you will corroborate, that a giant female figure took the marble and vanished? Do any of you have any insight to this?
No, I mean, we're all as puzzled as you, I think.
And this happened within the marble.
Yeah, within the space of the marble.
Again, I was exhausted at this point. I really wasn't paying attention. I was dealing with my own wounds at the time, but
fellow members of the council, would anybody be able to present any theories on what this possibly could have been? Sigrid adds, well, the giant's marble, you say it was quite large?
Yeah, it was, I think, fist size.
Okay, it is possible that the giant's marble could have been flawed somehow. Yes.
What's the first one created?
Potentially compromised by Jochen, a back door, perhaps. for him to safely reclaim a marble in the event that it might be taken by enemies.
That sounds possible.
Yes, that's
Deception check.
Yeah, deception.
I don't need to. Oh,
In
no,
all
no.
honesty, none of us are really sure what happened.
Yeah, but
Where it went to, who this person was.
but
yeah.
Dusty,
We
I
think
think
it's
it's
Lord
one
Jermaine.
person.
exhausted after fighting, and it
Lord
just kind of
Jermaine-
happened, and then they just disappeared.
Yeah, Lord Jermaine says, it seems that this aspect of the story, while pretty important to keep track of artifacts as powerful and potentially dangerous as the marbles of reality, a thorough and satisfying explanation seems outside of our grasp as of this moment. We will
Indeed.
continue to look into this. We may call you in again at a later date to provide any more information to a separate investigation tracking down the marbles' whereabouts. We may ask you to give more detailed statements on the matter at a later date.
Very well,
this,
my lord.
This is a troubling detail, a mysterious and troubling detail, but one that I think we cannot satisfactorily resolve. So we shall move past it.
Okey-dokey.
That's true. Dusty is completely out of it. I think maybe at this point, if this is the first he's heard of this, Dusty probably has a guess what happened.
I'm like,
But this is the
slightly
first
happy.
Dusty's heard of it. Okay, so from there,
Maybe it was destroyed. Maybe it's tied to the soul.
no, they kind of brush over that because it definitely sounds like it was retrieved by some entity, some unidentified entity. So the king's been killed. You have defeated the giant. Achieved, as far as you were aware, achieved your mission. Maybe not to the parameters that you had been. You were aiming for, but at this point, I assume you were left in a room with two corpses, a missing reality marble, and what happened from there?
The parameters of the mission changed, is why we couldn't possibly achieve our goal.
So you talk about
Yeah, the fight with the zombie berserker. And then, yeah,
before
I'd be
that,
very...
before that, there's a lot of really important details before that. You talk about Jochen and
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Nogunga coming in, and I'm
I
guessing.
specifically state why they came because someone made a really loud noise with a gun.
Okay, that's
Oh yeah, let's shift blame onto Flynn because it was totally his fault that this mission was a baller from the beginning.
Is the king dead or not? It seemed like we
all
failed
three
to kill him.
versions
and
of
then
the
he
point,
stole his honor.
that's a detail
I
that
just finished
Rocky. This is the first detail that Rocky actually
Mhm.
kind of sits up for and says, "Oh, you're in the possession of a firearm."
Oh god, nice. I'm getting you rid of your
It's
fire.
more of a firework launcher.
Son, I know what a firearm is. Probably.
I don't
better
even
than
know
you.
what a firearm is.
Could you present? I can explain it. Could you
I
present the?
would
the
recommend that you
weapon?
confiscate it from him.
Yes,
No,
please.
no, there's no
Thank
need for that. They're not currently illegal. But these are mechanisms which have been popping up more and more frequently. Young man, if you don't mind, I might actually have a word with you at a more and he yawns at a more reasonable hour about where you acquired such an item. Nothing as formal as this. Don't worry too much. But yes, if you could please present the firearm for the council.
I'm going to cast Mage Hand and like grab it off his waistband and then
Oh,
just like...
alarms going
pass it
off!
over.
Alarms going off! Alarms going off!
Yeah,
The biggest flaw in that is that gun is not in my waistband.
Oh, word.
I undo
please.
multiple zips. in my
And he
jacket.
just say,
Undo
I was
buttons.
thinking more because Flint
Untie
on
my
fucking walks.
shoelace and pull it out of my jacket.
okay.
You untie your shoelace and then
It's a
pull it out of
secret
your.
code. What could I say?
Brooke, what happened when he cast Mage Hand? I want to know.
He didn't because
Oh, he didn't
He
actually.
can't.
Mila
Like,
has
when
more
he-
common sense than David. Mila
No, I
knows
was just
that
gonna
this
say
is-
because he can't walk and he can't present it, so I was gonna like
he
offer
still
to
have
like.
arms.
I still have
Yeah,
arms.
I don't want to
still
move. I'm not
have
moving for
this.
Flynn. Are you kidding?
You can't cast anything anyway. You'll just get fucking shot by my gat.
I mean, maybe when he.
I just send my pillow forward a bit so you can.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay,
yeah, I
so
present it.
yeah, and then Rocky says, so just to fill in this little detail, we have had council meetings about these weapons previously, but just to reiterate, the mechanism uses a black powder substance which has been nicknamed gunpowder
I thought you
to
called it dragon
detonate.
powder.
Dragon powder.
Pretty sure you called it
Dra-
dragon.
dragon-
powder.
No,
Dragon
it's
powder, yes, dragon powder is
It's what the group called it. I was saying that's what I was Molian.
dragon powder is another name for the same substance.
Dragon pounder.
Shut up. Shut up, you little shit. Who do you think I am? You
Fuck off, I can't
member of the
walk.
council? You
Yeah.
little crippled bitch.
Ooh. Ooh.
Now you really are a gangster, Flynn. You're a
Oh.
I'm here all night, people.
Oh god.
That would be the fucking councillor to talk like that. Okay, no. And using the explosion, the localized explosion of gunpowder, it launches a projectile, a solid metal projectile, which has roughly the same piercing power as a very large crossbow, but obviously, as you can see, far more compact. And we are slightly concerned about the potential mass production of these weapons. Considering how simple the design is, all that would really be needed is ammunition and gunpowder. But please stow the weapon and continue with the story.
I
I
pulled the
anyway, the
pillow
monkey
tie
back.
is
my
flying the
shoelace
plane.
back up, do some
what?
zips, do some buttons up, and then close my jacket.
And I'll pull the
Um,
pillow back so that he's not in it.
So you have been apprehended by two executioners, Nogunga and Jochen, and it is at this point that Mytasia makes her move. Correct? A
Yes,
move
indeed,
that
my
you
lord.
were not anticipating.
Absolutely not. No.
We were fucked. We were fucking fucked.
I
Oh, yes,
believe
if,
that.
Lady Mytassi hadn't showed up, I
So it
dread to think what the
sounds.
consequences might
I
have
believe
been.
that Mytasian
I
was
died.
not able to tell us about that aspect of the
Yeah.
king.
Yes, she was bound
Hmm.
by the crown's contract to some such detail. It wasn't quite clear what it was, but
These
Yes.
are actions that do not necessarily sound like someone who is particularly tightly bound to the duty of not harming her liege.
Well, I think it was kind of like because of
I would
the
take
king
everything-
dying, and then so she had like a.
I'm not certain. All I would recommend is that you take everything that Lady Mytasian told you with a pinch of salt. She is clearly an incredibly proficient schemer and liar. So keep that in mind. But
course.
yes, she makes her move. Nogunga falls. Jochen flees after summoning the beast known as Hrongar. And from there, you say this entity, this dark entity within the king, manifests.
yes, indeed.
First,
Uh,
taking the body of the prince as host, and then manifesting in its own right as some kind of spider. Is
Spider
that...
Dark Knight is very strange.
Hmm.
Unlike anything I've ever seen before.
And there's a lot of
The theory
murmuring.
had
This is actually the first time that there's some murmuring happening, especially especially in the elven section. Actually,
Can I hear what they're saying?
Not at all.
Oh, yeah.
Not even slightly. You would need to have like a directional mic to be able to pick up that stuff. It's kind of like the acoustics. The acoustics really kind of work against you in this building. I was gonna say.
Is it
And Lady
intentionally?
Mytasian proceeds to battle this dark entity one, and you are left to clean up what's left. The Dragon Rider, Marga, and the Soulless Madman, Pronga. That's correct, yes. And these battles were fairly straightforward. The dragon was killed in a explosion, which we have verified reports of, witness reports of this explosion. And the six of you dispatched the
Feeding it
beast.
C4 for fucking months.
Asmodean did it first. He was the inventor of grenades.
Oh god. Let's not talk about that.
No, I didn't say. No, that was also character.
Yeah.
The first thing that really Roven, Roderick Manderley, the counselor of Roven, his first like real interjection here, other than like a few comments and kind of moments of discussion, he says, so the reason that Lady Mytasian ambushed you after the battle with the Shadow Dragon appears to have been testing your strength for this exact moment.
It would appear so, yes. Very similar circumstances, just after a very important fight. Spellcasters down on spells, of course, and our melee, our sword wielders and axe wielders here were pretty tired as well.
The yes, we had heard from fights that the dragon battle was far more severe than one would expect under similar circumstances. At first glance, this could have been interpreted as perhaps a petty act on behalf of the king, but given what we know about the king's mental faculties at this point in time, that also could have been orchestrated by Mytasian to test your limits, to see how well you fit into this plan. Certainly
That being
seems
the
within
case,
her.
test as she did.
Yes, it certainly seems within her range as a schemer. She seems quite a mastermind. It must be said.
Mm-hmm.
So she tested us twice.
Yes, tested your ability to battle a foe while fully prepared, and then tested again your ability to battle another foe while woefully unprepared.
Well, she did state before we went into the reality marble that we had gotten further than any other previous schemers to take down the kings, so she did seem mightily impressed with what we were doing.
I mean, we did succeed.
That's a fairly ironic statement in retrospect. All these times we have been believing that Lady Mytasian was foiling these attempts on the crown. Perhaps she was orchestrating them.
Looking for any opportunities she could get to get away from her bonds with the king.
Yes,
She did what she could.
possibly. Orchestrating from the shadows, and then when realizing that it wouldn't be quite enough to sever all the heads at the same time, cutting the schemes off before they can fully take hold, and earning trust along the way. It's very cold-hearted and manipulative.
I want to invite her to Middleton. I'm gonna give her a house.
And I think now the final and most important point is Mytasian ripping the core out of the king.
After showing her true self, no less.
And please describe the implement she used to extract this essence.
What was it again?
Asmodean describes it in vivid detail.
Yes, Keyman, let's go.
It was a silver spike.
Oh,
What was it?
God.
A silver
A silver spike.
spike. Okay.
Choose to remove it. I don't know what it was, but
Fucking keen mind. Bullshit.
Yeah, as Molian describes it in the most greatest detail possible.
That Praetor Reed interjects. That sounds very much to me like a platinum trammel.
what is that?
It is a theoretical device which has been theorized to
Can I
strike.
roll an intellect check to see if I know?
Certainly, this would be a religion check.
Oh, religion? No, no.
I do one?
Let me see. Let me see. It's Molian.
Can I try one?
Yeah, you can do as well if you.
Just in case I've
Religion,
given you
I-
that information.
I have rolled. Let's see. -1 because I don't have 11 yet. So I have a 22 or a
22.
21.
You might be familiar with the concept, but probably haven't read too much into it. This is fairly niche, very high concept, divine theory, which is not your specialty. Yeah, the realms of gods and so forth is not something that you've studied in
Vivid detail. Nope.
specific detail, which is probably what would be required here. But I'm certain that you would have read the words platinum trammel before. Yeah, this is a device which is theorized to be able to strike at the core of a divine entity for sealing or banishment or other purposes. Of course, such a device has never had any practical application, as the gods have never once set foot, as far as we know, on the material plane. But it's I believe I remember one young theologian talking to me many years ago about such a possible implement.
My Tassian said a name as well. A betrayer god?
Arced.
Something?
Arced.
Arced?
Which, as Merlin, you would know. You have heard that name before. That was the 8th executioner, the one spoken of only in rumors to scare children.
Okay.
Arced.
Yes, Arced.
Oh, sorry, I misheard.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the German word for 8.
Yeah.
Octavius.
Yeah, so the 8th executioner, there was a Frisian folk tale that you were told, I believe, on the road, that the gods stopped 7 days a week because they feared angering Arced.
Wait, did we anger Arcton? Oh fuck, we're fucked.
And that's a detail that definitely sets off the murmuring. Betrayer god, you say? That's a disturbing thought.
I thought you might like that.
Indeed, that's something I think we'll need to discuss and much more
Oh
detail.
no, my percentile dice. Whatever will I do without it?
And Arced is the name is known. It is a folk tale told in Thrice of a Black Knight, the 8th executioner, the fabled 8th executioner. That part of the story, I suppose, does line up. Quite worryingly so. Of course, there is usually a kernel of truth at the bottom of folk tales. And then from there, the tower fell. And what of Mytasian? Did you see where she went to? Her subordinate?
Sadly, not now.
Were you able to recover the remains of the deceased subordinate?
Well, try as we might, unfortunately, we couldn't seem to find the last pieces.
And
Isn't that so, Dusty?
and you returned. You returned to the capital within the hour of this battle. That's correct.
Less than that, yes.
Okay. Well, we seem to have concluded the recap of events. That's this is a significant incident which we shall start investigating immediately. I thank all of you for coming directly to us and following protocols. It makes matters far more simple. This is still Lord Germain. He kind of glances around at the council and says, after making eye contact with several of the members of the council, he says, "It is the verdict of the Council of Six at this time that while you are people of interest in this turn of events, any crimes you committed were on foreign soil. You were acting on behalf of official guild decree, official council decree for the Council of Arn. There will be no charges brought against you. However, with you being so significant in these events, we would ask that none of you stray too far from your point of contact in Middleton. So we can rendezvous and get more clarifications and information along the way.
I intend to be returning home at some point, so if you do need to contact me, please reach out through Serena and Amala.
If you do need to travel for any extended period of time, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure you report it in, and let us know where you will be. So if we need to contact you, we can.
Absolutely.
We recommend that you do not take on any additional council work, especially guild work, especially guild tasks that would have you traveling particularly far for the next 6 months or so.
6 months?
Yes. While you are not officially being charged with any crimes at this time, you are still, as I say, significant people of interest, and as such it is well within your best interests to fully cooperate with the investigations that shall move forward from here, and failure to do so could certainly be seen as grounds for criminal charges.
I will say over the ring,
depending on the results of these investigations.
I will say over the ring to Dusty, and
the punishment you will receive if you were to abscond would not be worth it. Just go with this, and the time will fly by before you know it.
Yes, as we stand right now, the Council of Arn is taking full responsibility for your actions, and as such, any sanctions and punishments leveled against these acts will be shouldered by them and them alone. The best way to make sure that you fall within this umbrella of protection is to cooperate fully. If you do not, and evidence comes up that would put you outside of this, outside of these protections, this is a circumstance in which you might find yourself being prosecuted. So, as I say, it is best just to keep a low profile for the next 6 months and cooperate fully with the investigations. I do not need to remind you that you all participated in an immense act of political foreign espionage and assassination. And
Very
as
well,
such,
my lord.
I don't see the
and
problem.
as such, I think the consequences are very favourable to all of you.
I mean, we
We're
did
reasonable
the
people, we can
tyrants.
You
abide by
didn't do
that.
anything wrong.
Asmodean just nods and just starts walking away with Flynn following behind him. So I'm actually following just...
No, I want to stay. Asmodean!
Well, I mean, I can't really.
Nothing we did was wrong.
You could roll off and flop onto the ground.
Asmodean's just tired. He wants to fucking go to bed.
Yeah.
And he has to still walk because someone's using his pillow, so he's cranky as well.
Hey, man, you're doing the right thing.
I
Is there
believe
anything anyone else wants to bring up before we kind of put a full stop on that little bit?
I would just say that my colleagues are rather tired at the moment. If any further questioning is needed, I will be here for as long as
No,
you need
we
me.
have
But I
no
would
more
please ask that
questions.
my
We have no more questions for your party as of this time. Please feel free to return to Middleton.
very well.
Okay,
be-
and
be-
you
before-
return to Middleton.
Before anything like that, I would just notify because you haven't told me the name of my home city, so I would just say Serene them all, let them know I'm going there, and you know what's going. You know where my dad lives. You can contact me there.
Could you tell Dad where I'm going, please?
I just start like really slowly, I guess, walk towards a teleportation so we can teleport to Middleton and go to our own fucking base. I guess, or did we have rooms there? I don't know. If we have rooms there, he will crash in those rooms.
We need to sort that shit out first.
I'd be very happy to pay for hotel rooms for everybody if you wish to stay the night in the capital.
No,
If
let's
it's
go
too
home.
far away, I'll fucking just write down a fucking ruin here and just teleport us back to our fucking base. Because we have a room. We have a. I think we did have a. I think we have a teleport thing, right?
There is one in the
At
guild
our-
hall.
Yeah.
It's in the guild hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no problem. You can teleport because
Yeah.
this is a teleportation gateway. Like you don't actually need
Yeah.
to be able to teleport to go from
Yeah.
point to point. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to. I'll say I'll catch up with you later. I'm going to check into a very expensive hotel, get a massage, and I will see you in a couple of days. And I'm going to go and check into the fanciest fucking hotel that I can find.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Okay, so
if you need help getting to us, just send me the
timeline mode. Back to
message.
timeline mode.
Can I?
As Merlian
one
reads the
final
book,
thing?
this is week 1 of house arrest, basically.
Have we got like little anklet bracelets on that
But,
that beep when
that's
we go
like-
too far away?
My
The
child.
book, the
chop
book,
my
the
leg
book
off.
thing only took 3 days.
Can't feed
Because
it.
it took 2 days to read and then the third day to set up, so it's only
Yeah.
3 days of work.
So yeah, this is week 1. Is there anything urgent that people want to do in the first week?
Massage. I want to go on a spa day.
Yeah. So Mila's just in the capital spending money.
Are we in the capital as well, or are we still?
No, unless you specify otherwise, you're back in Middleton.
Have we
You're
received...
doing
I
whatever
can,
the fuck else Merlin tells you to.
I can teleport anyone anywhere if they want to go somewhere. So
I would need to find somewhere where I can fix my legs.
isn't Dusty gonna help you with
Yeah,
that?
he's working on that. I think.
I think
Is
he's
Dusty
working.
working it?
Yeah.
I think it like needs like multiple casts of regeneration.
I think it
or
was a
something.
month's worth of,
Do I need to-
recovering.
Do I have to cast it every day for the month?
Yeah.
Mhm. And
I would
Flynn needs to.
Dusty.
Dusty ain't a slave. Dusty got shit to do.
There are other people who could also.
Yeah. You could just
But
go
you
to
would
your
need to
church
be-
and pay.
You
Pay
no,
money.
you would need to be in the capital though. Like if Dusty wanted to leave and do some other business, Flynn would need to go to the capital.
Probably pay a lot of gold.
And have other. Well, no, it would all be done within the Adventurers Guild. Like people would
Okay.
help.
I just teleport him to the fucking adventure guild and just drop him on the floor. They're not going with him.
His legs are
So
broken. Fix it,
rude.
and then he just fucks off.
Fucking rude.
Oh, that would be brilliant. I think
My
I
offer
would
still
do that
stands
now.
for me
Oh
paying
my
for
God.
Flynn's hotel room. But if Flynn is going to take me up on that offer, I'm going to have to insist he stays on the highest floor possible.
Oh my god, I'm just picturing now like as Merlin knocking on the door of the Adventurous HQ in in the capital, and they open the door and there's a little basket on the floor, and inside the basket there's a little figure bundled in cloth, and they pull back the face, and it's this full-grown man.
What the fuck are you looking at?
He's
Get
like,
out of my fucking face!
my nappy's full and my legs don't work.
Oh, fucking amazing.
I am literally incapable of wiping my own arse. Would you please be so kind as to do so?
I can wipe my own ass, my hands work, just can't stand up.
No.
I would imagine Flynn would not tell anybody
I
that.
have
Sadly,
telekinesis.
Flynn,
I can
part
do
of
that
this
myself.
is you might be able to telekinesis some of this away, but if you're paralyzed from the waist down, you do not have control over your.
Doesn't he have Mage Hand as well?
Yeah, you can wipe with Mage Hand,
Himself.
but you can't.
And I won't
control
tell anyone that I wipe with mage hands, so I'm gonna high five people afterwards. Jesus.
Okay, so there's that detail.
So you're stuck in the Adventure Guild
Flynn,
in this
Make
Yo.
for a month.
make 3 wisdom checks for me.
Wisdom checks.
Yeah. Physical therapy is probably one of the most difficult things you've ever done in your life, and I want to see how much resolve.
As long as it's not con checks, I'm Gucci.
No, this is willpower. This is 100% willpower. I want to see how well you do at your physical.
Would it be a saving throw?
Yeah,
or
go on,
something.
make it saves. Yeah.
Not bad.
Nice. Very good.
Oh,
And the last one is like, no, not
Not
anymore. I don't want to do it anymore.
Pretty good for Flynn.
pretty good. I mean, I don't have any.
Wisdom
What are the
modifier.
rolls? I just realized them in Camelot, not
17, 17, 9.
I mean, you see them when you load up.
17, 17, 9, yeah.
Well
Okay.
done, Brooke.
So, yeah, you start with a lot of resolve, and you do get through most of your physical therapy, and you can walk again and everything, but Flynn has a permanent limp.
That is really funny. Fuck you,
Like,
Flynn.
It's not going to affect your movement speed in combat, but it's going to be every time you get out of a chair now, it's going to be fuck.
I would love to walk past them while I'm in the capital and just like give like a little and just walk away.
God
I'll
damn.
slap you with my mage hand.
slap him
That's
with
me.
his poopy mage hand.
Counter spell.
Well, I guess every
Okay.
time you cast Mage Hand, it's a new hand anyway. It would just be clean hand anyway. So. Or it would
I
have
would
just
wipe
been
that.
you would have just wiped
I
it
would
out.
keep it there.
Constantly holding Mage Hand. I have to keep it up. I have to keep it up. God.
Okay.
I think you have to cast.
Okay,
every
so
minute.
we're out of week 1 now. Month 1. What do people want to start doing?
I think I'm stuck for the next 2
Yeah,
months. of
you're
working
done.
on
We're
the-
done with
yeah.
you. Isn't
I'm
You're
stuck
done.
for-
No,
month.
after 2 months, I am back because then
Yes,
I've done
but
the
we're
thing.
not at 2
Yeah.
months. We're at the first month.
Well, we-
these things.
You kind of settled like
Um,
what I was doing too last session, with like getting in touch with the Goliath tribes and shit. That like I'm imagining that's like around a month or maybe more.
Yeah. So,
So I
these
have to think about that. I would actually help Kyogen with that if he asked me to.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to get in your good side because I want a house.
Right. I mean, I'm
Okay,
maybe not
so-
the best person to think about that, unless you want a house in the Goliath town.
I mean, like I would imagine, like Miliana's favorite pastime is administration, so I would help.
Oh right, cool. Yeah, I need
She's
people
a bit
for
of a nerd, like
administration.
she likes that kind of stuff.
What you're gonna say? Property management.
Property. She's a great like she's a developer and stuff like that. She buys like really wrecked houses, renovates them, and sells them on for a small profit. And all of a sudden, you notice a big influx of high elves moving into Middleton. It's weird.
I don't. Yeah, I think considering the people who have recently moved into the neighborhood, I don't think high elves would. To To be fair, there's too many humans and dwarves here as well. The high elves are going to stay in the forest.
I am the only fucking high elf in this place.
No, not at all. Not at all. But it's definitely like the high elves who live in Midrealm do so for business. Like
No, I meant Middleton.
Oh, in Middleton, right? Yeah, yeah. In Middleton, probably. Yeah, probably. It's mostly humans and dwarves and the occasional.
Well, from the elf bank, there should be
ragtags.
few maybe.
There's no elf bank in Middleton.
That's where we had our loan. We did have a elf bank there.
No.
That was the last one left. The other bank went
Wasn't
away.
The elf bank was the
yeah,
last
the
bank,
elf.
right?
Yeah, the elf bank was the last one left.
That's like
because
Crackneck arc shit.
Yeah, I know.
But
That's
you
what
got
I
your
remember.
loan. You got your loan from the capital though.
No. I got the loan from the elf bank.
No. Because you went to. This is like pre Royale stuff. Like this is the sparkling water and the elf bank in the capital.
Yeah,
Remember
but
Bogado when we got hot dogs?
This is when you were setting up your loan.
Bogado, we got hot dogs. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
That was when you were setting up your loan.
That's so long
I set up
ago.
the loan. I set up a loan in Midrealm.
Then why were you in the elf
Mid-
bank in the capital?
Because I think we got sent there, but I can't remember why.
Nope.
It was in the capital frame.
Yeah, definitely in the capital.
Okay.
Your key mind is working.
Middleton is way too small to have like a proper bank, especially in the condition you found it in. I definitely do not remember any banks being in Middleton.
Because I set up a account. I know I had a bank.
Yeah,
so I
it's in
set
the
up-
it's in yeah.
We
in the
definitely
capital.
traveled to the capital. That was like the first time we were in the capital.
Yeah.
So I would like to. So after I've helped, so I would come to Midrealm. I would offer my help to Kyogen. We would do that, and then I would want a meeting with Kyogen and Dusty to try and get a house sorted out. And of course, I would offer my services and help of administration in the if need be.
Okay. So
Apart from next
Kyo-
month, I'm very busy next month.
Kyo and Mila, you're kind of uniting these Goliath tribes. Like I say, 3 of them do kind of tentatively come along and just see what the situation is. The 4th needs to be persuaded, but it's handled fairly well. And then it's just a case of getting them settled in, and I'll say that takes like a
And
full
also
month.
getting them to cooperate with each other. Like imagine like the culture between the tribes are kind of different.
Yeah, there's definitely some scrapping and stuff happening, but you're a very, at this point, you're a very venerated figure.
Like I'm
to
right next on the
Goliaths.
clipboard going, no, stop hitting each other with Kyogen. Please have a word, will you?
Yeah, I sorry that.
Yeah. When you punch, you don't tuck your thumb into your fist. You're just gonna get a broken thumb. Like
Actually,
that.
I did
That's
once.
it.
No, I don't mean help them with the. Stop them from doing it. For
They
goodness
have
sake,
to sort it
Kyogen.
out one way, and that's the best way.
Diplomacy, man, diplomacy. So you can sort this out over a meal and or something.
This is diplomacy.
This is diplomacy.
My goodness.
Goliath diplomacy. Who hits the hardest?
No wonder
Yeah.
there aren't that many left of you.
Hey, orcs run on a very similar system for a lot of things.
Oh yeah, I almost.
You fix things as well then.
I was ex-
Don't do it.
I think I wanted to make a simulacrum of Keegan and give it to him, if I remember correctly.
You're busy, bitch.
Well, that's only 24 hours. Doesn't take that long.
Oh, surely Kyogen's got to have like a really
okay.
cool type, like the High Battle Lord of Mills.
Flynn, you're in rehab.
Maybe the Goliath tribe, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Kieran, what's Kieran doing for this first month?
Planting potatoes.
Are they with me?
Oh god, the microphone's broke again. No.
No, it's not. I had it
All right, cool.
put
cool,
up.
cool.
I forgot I didn't put it back down. No, I'm probably with Dusty.
Okay, cool. So what's Kieran and Dusty doing?
So how are we gonna do this?
Every
Oh,
day.
Robbing
that's
a
something-
bank.
We know, so the group knows about the situation with Kieran now. We should probably have mentioned that at the beginning. It was mentioned post-session.
Oh yeah, I kind of just filled that in. That was some backstory stuff that I just kind of filled into the group because kind of like Kieran's going to be taking a bit of a backseat moving forward. So I just kind of filled in some of the context of
Kieran wouldn't have told them things.
No, okay, that's fair.
So like people
So-
can know things, but the party does not.
Yeah.
Dusty knows things,
only
that's it.
Dusty. Yeah, only Dusty. I mean that was the context in which I was telling people. It was just a case of like filling people in on the backstory that might not necessarily get to play out now.
Yeah, that's
Have
fine.
we figured
Yeah.
out like how Kieran is gonna like start taking a step back?
What?
Oh, like your character, like
Her
Have you
goal.
decided how you're gonna leave the party in a sense? I think that's
yeah. I mean,
Well, that's what we're talking about
Yeah.
right now. Like
Yeah.
literally right now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's Kieran and Dusty doing?
Every day, as I think I mentioned last week, I will send a message to my Tassian.
Oh, using sending?
Yes,
No reply.
every day.
Every day. Yeah.
I DM.
Yeah. It's just dial tone.
I would
She
like to
just has
scry.
you on a block.
Okay, if this is like if it's like we're getting radio silence for like a week, then Kieran's gonna be like, okay, so we can't get in touch with her. Why don't we get in touch with
scry.
Kiana? I mean, we could scry, but she's probably gonna protect herself from that.
we could
I
try.
don't have anything of hers.
I mean, Dusty's crying. It's
Let's-
probably pretty powerful too.
Let's try it once.
Okay.
Or twice.
I think like the person who is being scried on is going to make a wisdom save of some kind, haven't they?
Mm-hmm. I know.
I mean, that's a mechanical thing, not necessarily a
Yeah.
But that's also just to see if they notice they're being scried on.
No, to
No.
stop them from being scried on completely.
If that doesn't work, yeah, we should see Fiona.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so you do a scry.
Yes.
We do a scry.
You do.
We do a scry.
But you
Not
don't
a
do a
hit.
hit. Yeah.
Not a hit,
We
just a
don't do
scry.
it.
I would never hit Dusty at this point.
Yeah.
Unless he was
Aw.
doing something that was going to kill himself, then I would stop him by hitting him.
You hit me,
The
kidding,
dagger.
I saved your life.
Do what?
What?
I saved your life.
Okay.
Would you
Oh
still
yeah.
hit me?
I didn't ask for it.
The smite thing would literally have been a fart in the wind. Like,
It would have been a big explosion.
I mean, it would look cool
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was gonna look really cool.
when you turned into a corpse.
I mean, that would have been fine. It would have been a totally
Yeah.
fine way to go out.
Yeah, you're gonna hit the full 40 d6.
Speaking
I
of
think
which,
I could survive that though.
It depends, because that probably would have brought you down to 0 HP, which means that you would have been on death saves, right?
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean I couldn't survive it.
No, it's true, but it definitely, I think death would have been on the table.
Death saves every 6 seconds and we'd have to find her.
Yeah, which would not have happened. He was separated. Like,
Fine.
it's like a maximum of 36 seconds. Anyway, no
Um,
30.
What if I made them all and then I'd just be like,
So the scry, you set up a scry. What's the parameters for the scry? Do you have any items or just the name?
oh, that's a good point. Do I have any item?
You have the map she gave.
I don't have it.
You would have asked me if you. were
Yeah,
gonna
you're in the
scry.
same. You're in the same places as
Okay.
me.
Yeah, you could have just
I
asked
will-
for
I
the
will
map
do
she
that.
gave me.
Okay. So you kind of set up this little ritual. Is this the first time you scryed on anyone?
I know I tried it on Bogadur.
yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Not really otherwise.
Well, she might be just in a different realm and then it doesn't work anyway.
So, it takes you a while to realize that you're picking up on a signal. Like, it's just blackness, 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 blackness. And then you realize that, like, you've started to pick up a signal, but it's really, really dark. And as your kind of, like, mental scrying sensor and your, like, mental eye accumulates to the darkness, you realize that this is seemingly some kind of very dark room or possibly a cave, and everywhere, glistening very slightly, are cobwebs, spider webs. And the central point of your vision is probably about a person-sized cocoon or egg sac, perhaps. That is very, very faintly. You can feel a heartbeat coming from it.
She's hibernating.
She's turning into a spider. She took that thing, and so she's a spider vampire thing. Interesting.
She's hibernating. She's taking a nap.
Yeah, that's
She's
nothing
gonna
weird.
come out as a butterfly vampire.
Butterfly vampire. Nice. I like this one.
Come on, more beautiful.
Butterfly vampire? What the fuck?
I'm fucking mad.
What?
Why?
What's up?
That's exactly what she was gonna be.
No.
Yes.
Joke.
Never use your first idea, bro.
One 2.0.
I mean, it's cool.
Well,
No,
that's
this is
2.0.
Bogador. This is Bogador fucking sensing the dragon the first time in the campaign.
The best thing about that thing was though, like when we were actually on the hunt for a dragon, Bogador didn't use his primeval awareness fucking once.
Yeah,
to get the
and you know what the
seconds
really
in a
funny thing
row.
is? That would have been hilarious because you were right next to the dragon the whole
Yep.
fucking trip.
Oh man. So funny.
I pass this along.
You do what?
I pass this along to you.
Okay. Well, I don't really need to talk to her. I just need what she has.
What she has.
The thing. The spike thing.
The gem.
No. The thing she used to get it.
The trammel.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
So I need to find her.
Do you wanna go?
How do we get to her?
Just saying, you guys know that I can teleport you guys anywhere in the world. Just saying.
The
Yeah, but
thing
aren't
is
you
you
busy?
don't know where it is.
Yeah, we
Well,
don't
you
know
can
where it
ask
is.
me. Well, if he saw it, right, he could give me the.
He saw the interior of what
Yeah.
could be a building or a cave
Yeah.
or anything. Could be a boat.
Okay.
Could be literally fucking anything.
Listen.
Could be anywhere.
I don't know if this will work. But I want to try find the path.
Link that spell.
Yeah, done.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You're gonna have to buy those fucking
100 gold versus.
I mean, we can just
I
yeet
already have
ourselves over
ivory.
to the capital.
I've already got ivory sticks.
Make a wisdom check for me.
Come on. Does luck count?
Yeah, you can look at it. It's a roll.
Do you have an object from the location you wish to find?
Oh.
That won't work.
Oh, I got a 20 as well. 20 wisdom.
Unnatural.
No, total. 20 total.
Yeah, yeah.
We have nothing
Okay, I
from.
need to figure out where this bitch
Midrealm.
is. Okay, so where is she?
Where in the world is my Tassian?
She's in Marbella having a nice little weekend to herself.
Guessing she's not in the same kingdom.
The path Points. Let me get my map out. Yeah. Yeah, the path is kind of drawing you somewhat northeast. Out of town. Obviously you can't it's just a line, right?
It's not like a straight line. It's the shortest
Could you
way
cast?
you could traverse. There.
Sure.
Could you
Just-
cast
yeah,
that like
yeah.
on? You can't cast it on a map, right? That it shows you.
No.
No, let's check.
Yeah, okay, that's a cool combination.
I've never got
yeah.
to visit it.
It's leading you northeast.
Okay.
You have no idea how far. You can't possibly know.
So we pack our
Northeast there.
bags. And we go.
Yeah, are we going?
Yeah.
You're gonna
Are
I'm going
you-
if you're going.
I think we figured out why she didn't reply now.
He's been sleeping.
Are
Yeah.
you notifying
Hell no.
Oh, you're gonna skip town.
Heck yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well there's nothing you have to roll for that, you just do it. Are you
don't
telling
wanna
any
tell
of the
everyone,
party?
but-
Are you telling any of the that's a really important thing. Are you telling any of the party where you're going?
You know they'll try to stop us. Or they would
They
try to
will.
come with and they would get in trouble too.
It's if they know but they don't
Think-
tell anyone, then that's
It's really doesn't
putting them
care.
in a bad situation.
Right. So I
It's
think
a-
we just go.
If they don't know.
I think so too.
Okay, Dusty and Kieran.
Christy.
Castardio.
Bellboy
That is
showing.
your new name, Custy.
That's our ship name.
Are you both gonna ride on the giant tiger thing, you guys?
We
Or-
could.
Okay, good.
That wouldn't be
What's
very
his name?
discreet.
I don't know what its name is.
Horsey.
Horsey. Horsey.
Not horsey.
Oh, she didn't tell you.
Away,
I
horsey.
think I've named it once before. I need to look that up. I can't
Frank,
remember.
what I just realised is
I'll-
I
I'll
don't
look my-
need your pillow. I have a riding goat.
I forgot about the pocket goat. Wait, didn't you also buy a mastiff at some point as well?
Yes, I have a mastiff. Right, a
Completely
riding
forgot
mastiff or
about it.
something.
Oh,
And then I
wait,
got given a goat.
Isn't that like
Yeah.
still in the capital? Like in
Yeah, I'm gonna say those steeds were transferred to Middleton or something. I don't fucking care. I'm not sorting that out.
Oh, Brooke, I would also want to purchase, like, this is not very important, but I just want a really, really nice white stallion horse for Miliana. How much would that set me back?
Just open the fucking handbook.
Just Google it.
No, but I mean, this is like the Dulux with a, you know, a...
Yeah, whatever.
It's
the
1,000
horse
gold,
costs.
there you go.
Times it by 2 or something. Why would you buy that? You don't need it at this level. You have a house. You have limited funds for this house you want. Whatever. I'm not your fucking.
Oh yeah, that's something me and Thingo were DMing about. Kyogen hooked me up with a house because everybody else was
Oh,
busy.
nice.
yeah, if I'm able
Wait.
to.
You could have
I'm
asked
glad.
me anytime. God.
You would have said no. That's why I'm helping him with the thing.
How does Keegan get a house?
He's
I mean, I'm
he's
a
the
lord,
He's a
as
lord of
much
Middleton.
as
He
any
owns
of
the
you.
fucking place. He can do what he wants.
He co-owns it.
So here's the thing. So Kieran and Dusty are missing. At the end of this month, you realise that they're missing. Flynn, you come back from the capital, done with your PT. Esmeralda, you're still hard at work. Keo, you're
800
still. Keo and Mila, you're still kind of. You finished up this first lap, and there are now 4, probably about. Oh, excuse me, probably about 300 total Goliaths, 4 separate tribes, settling into a local area, like a local valley or something.
How far away is it from the Middleton, by the way?
Probably like a 30-minute walk out of town.
That's why I
okay.
bought the horse. I'm
I
sure
have-
to work in a Ferrari, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's like it's probably like down. Hang on.
I'm gonna laugh when one of the Goliaths slaughters your horse because they thought it was meat.
You were not that uncivilized.
A snap.
I'm just
They
saying.
find a really dumb one.
Yeah,
I would
maybe.
slaughter him on the spot.
Oh
And
my
then the
god.
entire tribe's gonna kill you.
You come back immediately on and starting a civil war.
It's a fucking race war.
Race war! Yeah, I'm the only fucking high elf in this town. It's everybody versus me. I'm
Good
a
lord.
talented sorceress, but you know, I don't think I can take on a whole town. I don't even think
Well,
I can
yeah.
kill Kyogen.
You
Probably
definitely
not. He
could
would
not.
he would break you before you killed him.
I would have to roll like consecutive blink rolls for about 20 fucking turns for even me to have a chance.
I'm curious if your entire. I'm genuinely curious if your entire spell slot list is capable of doing enough damage to kill him.
Mhm.
Probably
I mean,
not.
if he can't hit me,
Most of the villains
if
I've thrown
can,
at you haven't been able to do it.
like, I mean, if I could just get off constant like sunbeam, like bonus action crown of stars, let all them drip out, and if he doesn't hit me with a combination of my cloak of displacement
Kyogen doesn't.
and
Yeah,
blink,
I don't do much
I might
damage
be able
though.
to do it.
I
Okay.
think Asmodean could do it really easily because he doesn't have any ranged attacks.
Yeah,
that-
Yeah, you also have a lot of
Asmodean
control.
is-
Asmodean's much better suited because Asmodean has mental,
Yeah.
has crowd control. That's the way to do it. Damage is the wrong way.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I'm uploading an image, a very old image that we used back in the Virewood days.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I've still got that open on my browser.
So that blue circle where the two rivers meet, that's where they've settled. Kind of that down in this valley, near not kind of halfway between the Middleton and the Virewoods.
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Well, just look at Midrealm D&D chat and Discord.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Picture.
That when you see Middleton, southeast, I've put another circle. That's where they've settled.
Oh, okay, you edited the image. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so it's an edited image. So just for reference, that's it's like a valley that they've settled in.
Okay, cool.
Right. Okay. So yeah, starting month 2. You guys realize that Dusty and Kieran is missing, and at some point you will be asked about that by the council, and none of you know. But are any of you doing anything to locate them?
I'll just send a message. You guys.
Do you have
didn't
sending?
I have sending. Yeah, I can just do sending.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I'll just do sending. Like, you guys forgot to leave a message at the guild. Where are you guys going? Do you need help? Yada yada. That's what I send.
Okay. Yeah. By this point,
You just wanted this message.
In response to this message.
I'd say actually by this point you guys have already reached your destination, but this message does come to you. I'll get to that once I've done like the first round with everyone else.
You phone me
I'll
this.
say that I'll respond saying that we're safe, we're okay. Don't come for us. We'll be back.
Okay.
It's just really simple. Like, we're okay. Don't
Doing a personal
doing-
thing.
do what you
Yeah,
need to do. Like, don't worry about it.
Okay, fine. I'll just send a message like they'll be back to the guild. I guess I'll
They'll
just
be
do a
back.
sending to the guild. Like, yeah, I got this message. They're
Oh,
okay.
you'd really notify
just
them about it?
traveling. Yeah, the guild send us a message
I mean,
because they didn't know where they was.
they specify that they have to like tell them where they were so they can find them. Like,
Yeah.
if you're just
Yeah,
telling
but
them
that's
that they
Well,
left
like,
and they didn't say
told-
where or why, then they're just gonna be very suspicious, and that's
Yeah,
gonna be
and
breaking
they already
and-
send us a message because they don't know where they are. So that's when Asmodean send a message to them asking where they are, and they didn't reply. So I sent a message back to the guild saying they are okay and they're coming back.
I mean,
That's what I
that's
said.
that's a very small thing to do, I suppose, but you'd be
Yeah.
kind of ratting on them.
Very pragmatic.
It's just that's Asmodean. He's just like they
I
needed
mean,
to know
you can-
where they were. He doesn't know.
You can blame me if you want, because if I hear anything about this, like I would tell Sareem and the Marla.
Yeah.
Kia,
They
yeah,
buggered off, we don't know where
absolutely.
they are. We don't know where they are. They've gone.
Mila,
Yeah.
you for a very paltry sum buy the deeds to a pretty dilapidated In the section of the town where the rich people used to live before they all moved.
Before Crackneck.
Yeah, no, way before that. This is like back when the mills were still open. The mills which Asmillion are currently using to make t-shirts.
Fucking t-shirts, yeah. Merch.
We haven't had like a
buymerch.com.
Yeah.
we haven't had like an update on the business for a while. I'm guessing that's
Well,
coming.
that was that's coming as well. Well,
I'll get around
actually,
to-
Jared,
yeah.
Jared,
I'll-
there's a new T-shirt, Kingslayer.
Yep.
Oh
Me.
shit!
Damn straight, that's awesome.
There's like somebody like dabbing stitched into it.
Mila, it's going to take you about 50k
With
gold
guns.
to renovate this place to your standards.
I did ask Kilgan if he could hook me up with a nicer house. Would that make any difference?
Yeah,
wanna
it would
drop
be
all
more.
Barbarians have different standards of nice.
Like,
I mean,
if
that's
you
very
want
true.
to-
It's a
if
pit
you want
with a toilet.
if you want a nicer house, then you're going to have to pay more up front. The cheapest way to do this is buy the cheapest possible property and then renovate.
Yeah, I
it.
couldn't just give you one for free because I still have like the economy of the city or
Like,
Middleton.
yeah,
whatever.
you could, but Monk, it would also be kind of like that would be in some way coming out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Can we just level that to about like, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 grand? I don't want to
Bru-
drop
Bruce,
every penny I've got left.
I just
Well,
want to
I mean,
say,
you can-
I got
mills
2
were
grand on me.
30,000.
I'm not rich.
All those mills were 30,000. So just saying,
Was it really?
just saying.
Oh
those-
yeah, well in that case, I'm not. I don't want to.
Okay.
I'm not,
Okay, 10k.
Yeah.
10K.
Those mills.
I will happily drop 10,000 on it to get it nice and fancy. I would also, as promised to Dusty,
It's
I
gonna
would
take
also
way
like to.
longer. It'll take the full 6 months to be done, but this isn't
that's-
something that it's not something you need to be like super present for.
I will stay in a hotel in the meantime then. Because I did
There's
promise to
an inn.
Dusty that all the furnishings, all of the like the tapestries and all that I'm having made, and getting desks and beds. I will spend every penny of that in in Middleton as promised.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What was that?
Yeah, Keo, where's your second month starting to take you?
Right. Like, yeah, then at that point I'd start like consolidating the tribes, making them get along, starting to create like a
implementing some of
system.
these rules. Yeah, make
Yeah.
some make 2 charisma checks for me.
Can I
Persuasion
help
if
with
you.
that because I'm helping with the administration?
No,
They wouldn't really look to you.
They wouldn't at all. They wouldn't really recognize you. In a way, you'd be giving both advantage and disadvantage at the same time. It kind of like the positives and the negatives even out to a like net neutral. So,
So I guess in this
think-
case,
I
like,
think
I'm
you
just
could,
you can be involved, but it's not going to help.
yeah,
you.
like I'm just
Yeah.
following him around, making notes, and like I'm translating what he's saying into like business language and whatnot. I do have my diplomat kit, so I'm just making notes, writing down rules and laws that Kilgan's put into place, and
Yeah, Keo,
I-
make two charisma checks of your choice. Well, no, I guess it would be persuasion.
I wouldn't really do
Intimidation.
intimidation.
you will behave yourself.
You can make 1 persuasion and 1 intimidation.
Yeah, I guess that
That's
fits
intimidation,
actually.
Right? No strength.
Oh, by the way, here's a variant rule that I'm introducing to my campaigns. You can use your strength modifier for intimidation checks instead of charisma if you want.
I think that's no, it's actually weaker. I have higher intimidation.
No, what's your strength mod?
It's 4, and I have +6 in intimidation.
Yeah,
No. Okay, so what's your charisma mod?
1 though.
What's
Let's see, 1, but
+1.
I have
One.
proficiency in
So-
intimidation, and
I know, but listen. What I'm saying is instead of using charisma to calculate your intimidation, you can use strength instead.
the
So it would
bonus
basically
of it.
be, yeah, it would
Okay, my
basically be
bad.
the exact same. Do you have proficiency in intimidation and athletics?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just roll athletics checks for intimidation there.
All right.
True.
Okay. 1 persuasion.
Okay, that's not bad.
Athletics.
The crit though.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely start to set out like a rule of law here. They 100% see you as the leader. Like they are here because of you, not necessarily your vision. but that can change down the line if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to find a second in command, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm right here.
No, it needs to be. It needs to be a client. And that's
I know, I'm
something
joking, I'm
Keo.
joking.
That's something Keo messaged me before. There's the 4 tribes all had their own leaders. You can make an insight check to see to try and figure out who might be the most worthy of leading all 4 clans.
Make them fight.
Maybe I'd like. Could I have like advice with Mila about this and get advantage?
I
mean,
think
I could
so,
certainly-
actually. Yeah.
I could be like, well,
This one seems
Well,
to be a
Mila,
little
what's
clever
your
than
input
that.
on this situation? What's your input?
Well, for me, whoever holds the most sway, whoever has the largest tribe that you brought, I would imagine he holds more sway with more people. Would imagine he would command more respect for having a larger tribe as well. Failing that, I have seen the way your people like to do things. If any of the other former clan leaders did not like your decision, you'd always make them, can't believe I'm about to say this, fight for it. Fight for the honor. Because
I was
through
already
the
thinking that, believe it or not.
Yes, through the act of actually besting the others in combat, surely that would gain more respect from the others.
Alright, and then I roll.
Yep, go for it.
Nice.
Perfect. Making one of the 4 clan leaders the overall leader is a terrible idea. And Keo, you kind of realize that. Because all that will happen when you leave is all of the other 3 clans will feel like they've just been taken over by the biggest clan. And instead of being your vision, all of a sudden it just becomes that clan. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very interesting way of putting it, actually. Kurgan.
But at the same time, you're going to need to pick someone who can override the authority of these 4 previous clan leaders.
That wouldn't be like too much affiliated with either of them.
Someone who is perceived as neutral and someone who has proven themselves over the 4 previous clan leaders.
Yeah, and then the Heritage tournament would come in.
A tournament
exactly
in
what
which,
I was about to suggest.
A tournament in which the clan leaders participate, but a neutral party wins would be the best outcome.
Yes, it would certainly be the best way forward. I would first begin by asking for volunteers. People who would step up and want this kind of honor would definitely be a preferred choice, not somebody who was just randomly picked that they might not want the responsibility. So I would ask for volunteers, and then of course whoever decides to put themselves forward, we can organize some kind of a.
I'm not sure if I'd like advertise it as a tournament for being my second in command. I'd still have a tournament, but it would be for important positions, both within the policing force and my personal guard. And maybe then
even those who may lose in the tournament could still gain something from it just by participating. It's an excellent idea. Well, I would actually make another suggestion as well. Perhaps we could find a source of revenue from this. Perhaps if we were to stage it in Middleton itself, you could charge people for the pleasure of coming to watch this, and of course all proceeds would go towards your clan. And
no, this isn't a farce. Banish that idea.
Okay. Just a suggestion, of course.
No, I'd rather put up like gold rewards for yeah, I'd put some like mostly the reward is like for positions and shit and honor and stuff. But yeah, maybe we don't need a gold reward. Like if you advertise it right. Never mind.
Perfect. Yeah, so what happens is that a lot of youth and kind of like the middle generation gets very invested in this. And actually,
I'm taking like sign-ups and I'm asking 50 times over. Like, I'm sorry, could you just pronounce your second name again, please? That's just very hard to understand. Kogan's like face palm and as I'm doing.
Yeah, what was I gonna say?
What language do Goliaths speak?
Yeah.
Could Kogan have taught me how to speak giant so I could?
In a month, no.
Yeah,
No, I didn't think so. It was worth asking.
I can start like teaching you some of the normal
I
sayings.
mean, you'll
and
start
stuff.
picking up. You'll pick up like handbook phrases as a month
Yeah,
goes on.
that'd be cool.
Only one of the leaders of the tribes actually considers it worth their time to participate, and that's actually noticed. Like, I feel like the tribe leaders are still very reluctant and feel almost usurped slightly. And this tournament for honor kind of, you get the impression that the majority of them feel it's beneath them.
Okay.
But yeah, one of the smaller clans leader is a relatively young Goliath, mid-30s, and he participates. And he is definitely known to be like one of the toughest in the entire group you've got here.
Are you participating as well?
No.
He doesn't have to. He's the fucking king.
Yeah,
I
at this point, nobody needs
Excuse me.
any proof of Kyo being top dog. Like, yeah.
He's a champion and he's fucking rich and he owns the land that they're sitting on. So it's what's he got left to prove?
He in a way, Kyo represents like everything that all of these kids like dream of being, in a way.
You're setting a marvelous
that's quite
example,
the
Kurgan.
mantle.
You're setting a marvelous example for the rest of your kin.
Although
Thank
some
you.
of them do, there is half that, and then there is also half a kind of sentiment that you're too domesticated. But it's definitely
Oh.
more respect than not respect. Yeah, so this tournament goes, and people definitely do start sticking out, and you're able to find plenty of people to take up positions of authority and stuff. But the final round is settled between the big beefy leader of the clan, and it's very close between him and a slightly younger Goliath called Leo Krogan, who is the son of the biggest clan's previous leader. Yeah, so his dad was killed by the current leader.
He has something to
God.
prove, this young man.
Yeah, that's
I
quite
like his
He
Quite a
does, and you can
showdown.
tell that he's definitely got more to fight for.
wants to bring honor back to his clan. I can understand that.
Yeah, and he eventually gets the leader into a like a submission hold. And
By God, it's a cross-arm bar from hell. By God, King, by God.
yeah, and the dude taps out, and he does win. But it was close. It was a pretty close bout.
Wait, sorry, who won?
The younger dude.
Okay.
Very well done, Leo.
I think now would be an appropriate time to let your people know that he is your chosen second.
Yeah, I was just about to. I was just thinking about how to. Behold, the winner of the tournament, and something I had not previously mentioned, but
I
he
cast
is
Thaumaturgy on him.
now to be my second in command.
If there's anybody who doesn't need base boosting, it's Kyo.
I
I'm
mean,
doing it anyway.
just an extra little
The
bonus.
world is going to fucking know.
And yeah, that's a very accepted position, far more accepted than not. And it's another kind of chip against the authority of the previous tribe leaders, which you are, yeah, like their authority is very quickly waning in this merged group.
Just kill them before, promise.
Oh shit!
Make the
I
example.
think Miliana might actually have suggested that.
Perhaps to stop conflict, it might be worth getting them
One
out
of
the way.
the-
I'm
the
not saying
biggest
you
one-
have to.
The biggest one has actually started causing you some trouble.
Okay.
I think
He's not like outright challenging you yet, but could go that way.
maybe
I mean,
not
bring it,
outright
like-
killing him would be necessary, but perhaps putting him in his place in front of in full view of the public might be well worth your time.
At some point,
You
maybe.
have the opportunity now. Well, you're in a fucking pit. Like, anyone want to challenge me now?
If
I mean, he
yes,
just-
now would actually But Asmodeus makes a fantastic point. If now is a great time to consolidate your position. If there are any people who are in doubt of my decisions, now would be the time to do so. I'm telling you, Kyogen, if you do not fix this now, this will only become a problem that repeats itself over and over and over again.
I just want to see a fight between the two.
I just ignore
an
and continue
advisor.
speaking to my tribe.
Say again, sorry?
Yeah, no, basically.
Okay,
So,
fair enough.
so you're going for it? Cool. You see.
No, wait.
The...
I'm thinking about it, and I don't know. I don't think now would be a good time.
Okay.
But I think like an opportunity later on would present itself, where they would either like speak up against me or like it's kind of like the Goliath way. They wouldn't go behind my back. They would confront me in some way or another.
Oh, I can guarantee you he will definitely present you with an opportunity to put him in his place. I don't doubt that. I do not doubt that at all.
Yeah, and this is about my new second in command, not about me or the conflict.
Well,
Possible
Very good
conflict
point as well.
between you
Let him have his moment.
and the
You might
other
wanna-
tribes.
you might want to
leaders.
remember that if they don't attack you, they can still attack your second in command, and then you lose your second in command.
I don't think that would.
If anybody was capable of taking him down, I suspect it would have happened during the tournament.
Well, the big guys didn't fight, right? The other three.
I mean, yeah, just the
You
youngest
cowards.
tribe
Yeah,
leader.
you don't know if you don't know one way or another.
Just wondering.
Well, I suppose so, but I think you're right. For now, he has very definitely solidified his position. Just by looking around the crowd now, it would appear that they, most of them seem to be in agreement with your decision. Enthused by it. Penis.
Anyways.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. No, this is like the flash to another person scene, you know.
Yeah. Also, as
Yeah.
well, I would have said, if any member of the party apart from Flint wanted a cup of tea, more than welcome to join me in my currently being renovated house.
So,
Did you say anybody apart from me?
Yeah.
I see how it is.
yeah, you can eat some cucumber sandwiches and afternoon tea while the plasterers are putting up drywall.
By the way, they've nothing against you. I love Flint. Mila fucking hates him though.
Let's swap now back to Dusty and Kieran.
Hey.
One thing of note. Before I left, I went to Havar just to see how long it would take to fix armor like that.
You're gonna have to leave it with him.
Yeah.
It can be
that's
patched
what I
up.
said.
It can be patched up for about 2,000 gold, but it'll take probably about a month.
Okay, that's fine. I won't do it.
Okay.
Skip it. I just want to see how long it would take.
Kieran, are you doing anything about the armor decimator, or are you pulling the
Nope.
Zweihander back out?
Yeah, pull my sword back out.
Yeah.
Okay, you can keep this. It can be a belt weapon now, like a little a whack-a-mole
I
hammer.
probably just hang it up somewhere, like in the guild, in our team base, like in my room.
Yeah,
or something. It's like a
like-
decoration now.
like broken handle, like part of it.
Yeah,
even.
yeah.
That's cool. That's like a cool trophy, I think.
Yeah.
We have it in our
Um,
meeting room. We
that's-
already have
that's-
the wolf.
That's like another campaign that happens like 20 years in the future. Maybe that house gets robbed, and it's a cool little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'd love to see like Miliana's reaction when she first walks in. So she's like, "Why are there so many bones attached to the wall? What? You know what? Never." It's like that is the majority of the meeting room, isn't it? Like bones of things that the party's killed in the past.
Yeah, I think the big boar head is there, and
The Hydra head.
I think
Yeah,
there's
the
the
Hydra,
Hydra
yeah.
heads.
the boar head. I
Probably
think.
some decaying bodies.
Some worm teeth.
What is it with you people and holding on to dead bodies?
I mean, I think I've got a child's skull in my pocket.
You still got that? I forgot.
It was in your pants. Remember your pants.
Well, we
It's
still
not
have that?
nice.
Why the hell do we have that?
It's a cup.
I took it
what
from
I'm
the
asking.
catacombs.
You're gonna get some plague. It's primordial to that.
Stanky.
Some bone plague.
I already
Right,
got
so
fucking
here's a question,
Arrow.
Dusty. Would you have been casting some legend lords along the way, or is that something you'd do afterwards?
Probably along the way as well, yeah. So,
Okay, so we've done the one which
The
would
martyrs.
actually start to become, yeah, the martyrs would start to become
March.
relevant. Just to fill Kieran in, Dusty Legend Lord, the martyrs, and Mytasian and her subordinates, and Xantum. No, not Mytasian. The subordinate dude and Xantum, and he got a history of the martyrs, like pretty much a complete history of the martyrs, which he discovered were actually founded by Mytasian several hundred years ago. Yeah, in Thrice, after she'd moved to Thrice and become enthralled to the king there, she started developing mental conditioning techniques to basically get some wiggle room in her, like
Bond.
mental contract and her bonds. And those techniques she taught to disciples so that they could start to wield sentient cursed items. And resists the corrupting effects of the items. And there's a huge turnover rate. 9 out of 10 recruits quit, die, or go mad. But the ones that stick are tough bastards, really tough bastards, and powerful as well, because they can control these like really powerful artifacts that are typically seen as uncontrollable.
I wonder how they were able to keep recruiting, like when most of them just die or go mad.
It was a lot of like,
Hopeless
is
people.
all- yeah, a lot of hopeless people with no place to go, and people. There would be people in the organization job it was specifically to recruit. Yeah, people who had nothing left to live for, people who had vengeance that needed filling at any cost. Yeah. The kind of example I use is the demon hunters from World of Warcraft.
That's right.
Very, very similar in premise. And there's fucking thousands of those fuckers. So, yeah, and Xantum as well. Xantum was seen as a prodigy in the organization. He wielded some of the most powerful items. Because like as the years went on, Mytasian became less and less involved in the organization. Although she definitely was still involved and would sometimes.
Still the leader, right?
Kind of. She was the founder, not necessarily always the leader. Like Xantum had previously been kind of seen as the leader figure, and clashed with Mytasian quite a bit actually. And they had very different ideas about where the organization's purpose was.
Both Martain and Gunther were.
Yes,
martyrs.
they were. Yeah, they were. Yeah, so the martyrs basically are fantasy SCP. Like a lot of what they do is collecting and containing these dangerous artifacts, and it's not always curse and evil items. Like sometimes, like Kieran's the Zweihander pre-cleansing would definitely have counted. Basically, any magical item with a will of its own. Not necessarily always good, always evil. I think that's more or less the extent of what you found out.
I guess the one final thing would be that because they were created by Mytasian, basically, like to simplify, to kill the king, right?
Kind of. That was their. Yeah, that was
the big goal.
Mytasian's purpose. Yeah, they were. Mytasian kind of. Her idea of the martyrs was to serve a very singular purpose, which was basically to kill the king and free Thrice, and herself in the process.
And now that's completed.
And now it is completed, and the martyrs are kind of purposeless to a degree. Xantum was definitely doing his own thing, being more of a champions of justice kind of a deal. And he would actually go out and he would lead martyrs to battle random roving demons, and that's how you met him, is he was tracking down those demons. That was something my Tassian believed was not a priority because it didn't relate to her. Wasn't benefiting her.
Xantum didn't return either.
Yeah, and they don't know where he is.
Dead.
It's possible.
Like the story you gave the guild has definitely passed on to them, but they have been looking for him and not found him.
Okay.
Okay. Any other legend laws you wanted to do?
Okay, so I have 2.
Yeah.
Magnafian.
Magnafian?
Magnafian is the
Oh, the god.
yeah, that's why
Yeah.
it came from.
And
Oh
my-
yeah, the angel dude. Yeah, I remember
and
him.
my tome.
So this is different. If this is the second legend lore you've done, it's very maybe the third because you did
The
one on
third.
the prophecy as well. Yeah, this is very different. It's it at first it just kicks in with this really distorted kind of feed, and it's almost like feverish and nightmarish, and that like it's just yeah, it's like almost like a fever dream of nothingness, and everything's a swirl and nothing is clear, and then all of a sudden a sword and a book are being pulled through that gateway in the firewood, and the rest you know. You definitely start to get the impression that there are limits to this spell. It can't, as far as the loss of history is concerned, it's powerless to combat
Yeah.
the effects of that event. Yeah.
Okay. I might get the same thing, but Fianna.
I'm not quite sure how much it could find for a god. I think what you would get for Fianna is the history of her worship,
Okay.
and the decline of her as somewhat of a prominent deity of luck to becoming the mistress of misfortune over the years, and her slow, steady decline to the point where, as you know, she's basically only worshipped by cults and lunatics at this point.
And me.
And most of her prestige comes from the fact that she's known as someone who, like, you say a quick blessing so Fianna doesn't come and wreck any of your plans. You know, it's
Yeah.
people only pray to
To keep
Fianna
her.
so that so that she stays away when something important is coming up. Yeah, you can't. It won't go past the material plane into the realm of gods and find divine secrets. It's not that kind of spell.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious if there would be anything that is known but not by me.
Not really. Like I say, it's like you're kind of only really seeing one half of the story, and it's the human half.
Mhm.
Obviously, the relationships between followers and gods is always a very interpretive one, and like information can be lost almost in translation. But without knowing her, you know, her history or her motives and intentions, all you can really do is just see how her worship has played out and the history of her worship has played out. I hope you're marking down costs for each of these casts.
I
'Cause
am.
it does consume.
Yeah, it costs a lot. I've spent 1,000 on it already.
Yeah.
Okay. Kieran, do you want me to? Do you want me to try find out about the Tremel?
The what?
The trammel.
I mean, you can if you want to. We've seen what it can do.
I wonder if it could let me know if the way we want it.
I think there's only way to find out whether it will do what we want it to do.
Yeah. No, I won't. Better not knowing, I think.
I agree.
Okay, so do you continue your travels now until you reach your destination?
Yes.
I'm just gonna to keep things short. It's not an uneventful trip. You realize you're heading in the direction of Praetor, via Signum. And Signum is a place you've been before. It was where the dragon was.
Oh, right, it was.
So at some point you find yourself kind of heading towards those mountain ranges again, and you have a choice. Do you go to the path which is not necessarily on the direction but will get you to Praetor a lot quicker than if you try and go as the crow flies, or do you just go straight through the mountains?
Probably. I mean, what Kieran thinks as well, but I guess the more what's the word? More stealthy approach.
Through the mountains, it will slow you down significantly, depending on how far you are from the target.
Well, he doesn't
I
know.
don't
He's
know
just
that
following
we're
it.
necessarily in a rush. Like, I don't think it didn't look like she was gonna wake up anytime soon.
Okay. Do you do any more scries, by the way?
Scries. I would say yes, just to check up on her,
Like once
to
a week
see
or
if
so?
anything has changed. Once every 3 days, something like that, a couple times a week.
Yeah, all of them go through, and all of them are more or less the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same.
She's in a
heartbeat
passive.
pace.
She's in a passive state. It's not. She can't resist a scry at this stage.
Okay.
And yeah, no indication that her location is changing at all.
Okay. Cool.
But also, your path is the path spell, so he doesn't know where he's going. So couldn't he only go through the route it's pointing?
It's pointing to in the general direction of Praetor, but that could also be somewhere in Signum. So
Okay.
like, it's kind of up to them. It's like,
I would assume it wouldn't be in Midrealm.
so in that case, you're kind of going as a crow flies will slow you down significantly, like really significantly. Like traveling a mountain path and traveling through mountains is, you're probably talking about slowing yourself down by a factor of like 3 or 4.
What do you think, Kieran? Do we have to be careful if we're seeing?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if we are seeing whoever would catch up with us, it's gonna take them a while anyway, right? Like,
Well,
it's
a-
rotation.
y'all aren't here, so quit interjecting opinions.
Agreed.
They can always teleport.
But they don't know where we are. They don't even know where we've gone. They don't know what direction
yeah.
we're gone, or who we're looking for, or why. Maybe we just go just the most direct way. Like,
Yeah.
maybe there's no need for all this stealthiness. And even
I
if they
guess-
catch up with us, what are they gonna do?
Yeah, you're right. We've walked this far already, not hiding much.
Yeah,
And they-
yeah, for
I
sure.
think we just keep going.
May as well.
So it hasn't been an uneventful journey. You were at one point waylaid by bandits, by a pack of 6 bandits,
Okay.
which you fucking smashed. Like it's kind of sad almost.
Like the
How-
Goblin Brothers.
Kind of, not quite as miserable as the Gobbers. But like
might-
these are like 18 HP bandits. 6 of them. Like Kieran could probably have soloed all 6 of them without breaking a sweat. And they very quickly realize the error of their ways and fuck off. Up to you if you killed any of them.
I don't think I like purposefully would have killed them, but you know.
No.
Sure. Maybe one of them's missing an arm now or something. That's why Handa's not gonna not gonna discriminate really. It's swung.
If we did have to kill anything, any humanoid, I would. If I think people wouldn't see, I would create undead. Just to leave some extra forces, just in case.
I mean, you're traveling on the road. I don't think bringing zombies along is a good idea.
Sure.
And you probably,
Yeah, maybe not.
like, I would imagine that even if Dusty doesn't have the common sense to put that one together, Kieran's boot probably does. Like, you can't just make a zombie. We're on the roads. We'll go through towns.
Nobody ever lets me make the zombie.
So you follow the path, and you cross the border into Praetor, and it is still pointing in the direction of Praetor. At this point, it is starting to turn a little bit towards the direction of Thrice.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, as you're kind of getting closer, you can tell that, like, you get the feeling that based on how much the spin of the facing off the path, how much it's spinning, you're pretty close. Kind of like the Skyrim thing when you wiggle. If something's close, it wiggles a lot. If it's far away, it doesn't move much. And yeah, you do leave the path at some point and go into the mountains. You really don't see much of Praetor at all. This is the Holy Land of Trufel, and there is the kind of fantasy equivalent of like Mecca or the Vatican here, like a really big religious city. But it's kind of in the other direction that you're going, and you probably wouldn't want to stop by there anyway, based on what you're doing. It's also super boring.
I want to carve a couple Fianna symbols.
Easy enough. Yeah. And off the path, it's a hike, and eventually you arrive at a ruined castle in the mountains. And searching through this castle, this empty ruined castle, snow's just covering, blanketing all of the floor and ramparts and stuff. You're gonna have to wade through some snow. You find a hatch, and the hatch leads down into a passageway, and you follow the passageway into some caverns, and you travel through these caverns, and eventually you see torches ahead of you. I'm gonna rush to the toilet before I go any further.
Okay.
So we can do a quick 5-minute break, everyone.
Yeah, I'll be right.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's the time. Like in the middle of the session. I mean, yeah, 5 minutes is fine. Alright. I was thinking maybe of if we could take a bit of a longer break, but 5 minutes is fine.
Oh, okay.
I imagine it will probably be longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah, probably, anyways. Alright,
They
BRB.
always are.
It's fine. I can send in my application for this stupid thing.
Wait, my microphone's been muted this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck.
Wait,
I mean,
what have you been saying?
No, I was just saying to you, Monk, I apologize for the mix-up that we were DMing about there. I didn't mean to overstep any bounds with the tribe kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I definitely wasn't ignoring you.
No, I think you were replying to somebody else as well, so I must have got muddled up thinking that you were replying to me and then replying to them as well. Yeah.
Okay. No, I mean it's all
So
good,
yeah,
man.
I
just
obviously.
I just had kind of like a brain fart with it. But it's all good, man. Like I should just been able to improvise a bit more and just come up with a way to
So yeah,
roleplay.
it was just just like me and Liana, and it's very much in character. It's like this can be optimized. We're having a slightly longer break, by the way, Brooke. People are doing things.
Oh yeah, just to yeah, possibly, and just to retcon it, Brooke, if you're here.
Yes.
Let's see. Sorry, god damn it, my brain. I hate it.
Same.
Anyways, I was saying that like in that moment when Miliana stepped in, I'd like kind of more have brushed her off because that wasn't like in her position. Like saying like this is my job, not yours.
All right, no problem.
I mean, I imagined I was like saying that stuff in your ear, not for everybody to hear. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's just like maybe you should make all these people kill each other.
Oh.
Right. Kieran, Dusty, you there?
Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, you see torchlight ahead of you in this cavern.
It's creepy.
Creepy.
And you hear voices.
Oh shit.
Uh-oh. Can we try to be quiet when we
listen
hear
up.
voices? Yeah.
Yeah, totally. A male and a female voice.
Yeah, let's like creep kind of closer, but
Stealth check!
yeah, stealth check.
Disadvantage.
I have advantage, I think.
I'm disadvantaged on a +1. Let's get him. 3.
Do you...
3 to 13. Okay, 2.
You can stop rolling now. That's it.
Not 20.
Well, it's a 13.
Alright.
Who goes there?
It is I. And them.
Accurate.
Did they reply?
You see one of the torchlights. It's almost like around a bend. And in the torchlight, you see two silhouettes kind of rounding the bend, and one of the torches seems to be moving with them. And you see a male drow and a female orc, weapons drawn, kind of peering around the corner. Identify yourself.
Well, how tough
Yes.
do they look?
Pretty,
That's a good question.
pretty tough.
Okay.
Yeah, but like on a scale of things we fought before. I mean, like pretty tough is very general compared to what we fought before.
A
you know what I'm
lot,
saying?
a lot tougher than the bandits. Probably less tough than you.
Okay, so I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna keep walking forward.
Okay.
I'll put my hands up.
What?
I'll
What's
say-
Stop. Stop right there, Dragonborn. Who are
Or-
you? And
Or
what business do you
what?
have
What are
here?
you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What business do you have here?
Wait, are we
Yeah,
done with
who
the
are
break?
you?
Who are you?
Not a step further, and they've drawn weapons now, and you see that the drow is enchanting some weapon shit into a sword, and it starts to glow purple.
I
Okay.
cast banishment on the drow.
Oh shit!
Some time to character spell.
It's a level 4, so you'd have to roll.
Yeah.
The D20 is coming out.
No. I won't.
Oh, natural 18. Yeah.
18.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
then
fine.
He doesn't,
Okay,
he
I
doesn't get
pretend.
bounced.
I pretend like I'm trying to counter spell, just so it looks good. So I didn't try, but if I saw it didn't work, I want to play it off.
He looks at his partner and says, "Ah, enemies! They're enemies!" And he rushes you.
We're here to see the lady. Is that what you're here?
Make a persuasion check, Dusty, as he's already mid-rush after being attacked.
11.
I was just gonna put him in timeout for a little while. It
You-
wouldn't-
He doesn't know.
I know. It's much better to be banished than to be hit with my sword, though.
He slows and says, or maybe even like the orc says, "What business have you with the lady, and why are you who are you, and why are you coming casting magic and rudely not introducing yourself?"
Oh, you're right. You.
Kieran is really like in this stage of life where they're like, old man, like, I don't owe you the fuck my name. Shut the fuck up. Like, get out of my way. So
I'm Custy. This is Darren.
oh my god.
A few weeks ago, we were working with the lady. She saw us out.
We killed the king, we killed the prince. We need to
Yeah,
talk to her.
we did that.
You see like a flash of recognition, and the drow looks back at the orc and then looks at you, and then sheaths his sword and says, "Oh, are you Kieran?
Yep.
Oh.
Why didn't you fucking say so?"
Because that's more of an alias. They're actually called Darren. It's a cover-up.
Do you really
Okay.
think your little toothpick there was gonna do all that much? I'm curious.
No, but it's my duty to try,
enough.
especially
I can
Especially-
respect that.
especially when people approach not identifying themselves and casting spells at me. Literally, that's my job, is to hit you with this.
All right, puppy, calm down.
Oh shit!
Okay. Next question. How the fuck did you find this place?
Wait, I have a question first. Do you know my name?
Allow me to answer your
Yeah.
question with another question.
Okay.
I'm
That's
guessing
good.
you're Dusty.
Some call me that.
We were briefed, you know.
Oh. By my
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and
What do you
he
call her,
points
by the way?
that he points at Kieran and says, "You're the mean one," and he points at you and says, "You're the daft one."
That's quite inaccurate.
Mila's the
He can
mean
be
one.
pretty mean if he really wants to be.
Make him do an intimidation check, please.
You say you're here to see the lady.
Yes.
Yeah. Why are you here? Who are you? Are you
We
part of
are.
a
We're in her.
specific organization?
We are simply in her service.
For money?
For duty.
For duty? For a cause?
Do we really need
What-
to
oh,
analyze why they're?
Are
why
we
they're
playing
here?
fucking
Like,
Scrabble? What
right.
The
Can we see her or not?
would've
Like, what?
chose a much
Can we
bigger
get
one.
to
Well,
the
I
bottom of
can't
it?
exactly stop you, even if I wanted to.
Right.
It's probably quicker for both of us if I just say, "No, you can't see her, but she's through there."
Thanks. Simple. And
Thank
Kieran just walks forward.
And there's a heavy iron and wooden door set into the wall here. And you can see two sleeping bags off to the side, and then a few sacks containing rations and food and water and stuff.
How long did it take
Well,
to
first
yank
off, when you yank it, it's a push.
Okay, well, push it open. Yeeting is throwing away. So pushing. It's not. That's if I were yanking it, it would be what's the other one? You're eating to throw. What else?
You.
Can't
D.
remember. D.
Do
Yeah, you slam into the door, and it's almost like there's a stack of pillows behind it or something. It's like
Thump.
boomf, yeah, and it's like it's the something soft but something barring the door.
Does it manage to bar the door?
Well, it does for the first one, and you can keep pushing it and making a bigger and bigger gap. And through the gap, you can see, yeah, there's cobwebs everywhere in here, and they're thick and they're strong.
Fire?
Just
Oh,
is that a
maybe
good
not.
idea?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Maybe
Yep.
don't do that.
Maybe we
And
won't
at this
do
point,
that.
you can see the orc lady is kind of like over your shoulder, peering in and going, "Ugh."
You're not
Oh,
welcome here.
Have you never been here?
No, she kind of came. We were posted here, and this is where she was going to retreat to if the plan succeeded. And she kind of came down in a rush. She looked ill,
Yeah,
and she
that's
said
fair.
she said her exact words were to close the door and to not go in under any circumstances. Those were
Well,
that
I
was her
give you
exact
an
words?
A for effort, at least.
She shrugs.
I appreciate loyalty. Kind of.
So is
In
her
this
like
instance.
cocoon thing in here? Do we
Yeah,
see
you
that?
you can see it.
Is that all that's in here? Like she got like stuff somewhere?
More or less. More or less. I mean, there's like
It's probably
The
on
marble.
her.
Oh, she probably has it.
I'm gonna have to cut this fucking cocoon down. That sounds like the worst idea.
I mean, there's
you
a good
can
sign
actually
about
at this
it.
point, Kieran, you can hear the heartbeat. Ba-dum,
Fuck. I don't like
Ba-dum.
that.
ba-dum, ba-dum, in the darkness in this room.
I like it.
And it's moist as well in here and fairly warm.
I
Okay.
don't suppose either of you know how long this is going to take.
I didn't even know that was happening.
Great.
I thought she was like sleeping or recovering or something.
Well, I think she is. It's just a very interesting way of doing it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
How long have you known her?
I don't presume to say that I do know her.
How long
She's
have-
just
How long have you been in contact or in service?
look. I'm not gonna stop you like poking around down here, but I really don't have to answer any of your questions.
You don't have to, but I really would like you to.
Yeah, I would really have
I'm
liked
gonna
you
go
not
poke
to
it.
come down here in the first place, but I guess we're shit out of luck.
Yeah, I'm
Do-
gonna
do
go
you
poke
poke
the
it?
thing. Yeah.
I mean, you have to like struggle through a lot of
Yeah,
these cobwebs. It's
but
like,
I mean, I'm
pet,
also
eh.
strong.
You are strong and you can push through. And before you just get to the cobweb, you feel a speeding up of the heartbeat, a brief moment of about 2 or 3 seconds of the heartbeat speeding up, and then it goes back to a regular pace. And then you just hear a voice in your head, a familiar voice in your head saying, "I did not expect to see you again so soon, Karen."
Right. Look, I don't have to be here very long. I just need the spike thingy.
You're going to have to be a little bit more specific.
The thing that you stuck in the prince,
King.
king, whatever. Same thing.
You need this item, do you?
Well, not to keep, just to extract something.
What possible use could you have for an item such as this?
There's a god inside me.
You see now flickering into existence about 2 feet away from you. Kind of like a Star Wars style hologram of
Nice.
Lady Mytasian is starting to flicker into existence, and she just looks slightly, maybe not confused, but like nonplussed. And she says, "I'm sorry, Karen, you're gonna have to repeat that."
I'm
The
like,
god Verdalen is inside me, using my body. Or trying to, at least.
Verdalen. Not sure if I'm familiar with that name. And I don't particularly have you pegged for a madman, but this is a fairly extraordinary claim.
I mean, look at yourself, okay? There are extraordinary things in this world.
Yeah, she smiles slightly at that. I'm afraid I cannot just give you a divine trammel.
Well, can you stab me with it?
Huh. And you see she's actually like taking some time to consider this. And she looks at you again and says, "How badly do you want this thing out of you?"
Bad enough that I don't care if it kills me.
How badly do you care about what happens to the god? And you see now a slightly hungry-looking smile creep across her face.
I asked for help from someone that I thought was going to help me not become a parasite. I don't care what happens to the god.
Fascinating. And the door slams shut and bolts.
Uh-oh.
Can we get some Fs in the chat, please, people? Some Fs in the chat.
I am.
And you not anymore, you're not.
Oh, I pictured myself like stuck in cobwebs hanging from the ceiling.
Near the near the door, just kind of like
Basically
you were
gagged by
shunting.
cobwebs.
You were like shunted out of the room and the door slammed.
Jesus.
Very like horror movie style.
I was trying the whole time, but
Yeah,
I'm strong.
it's nice. Mytasian's
That's nice.
Mytasian has maybe powered up a little bit.
She's had a good little cat nap.
You don't want to die though, do you, Kieran? If that can be avoided.
I suppose not.
You and your friends did a immeasurable service to me and my cause, and I do not forget such deeds. I think we can figure out some kind of arrangement. And you see now, or maybe you feel it more than see, because it's a very dark room. Do you have dark vision?
No.
I don't think Dragonborns do.
No, Dragonborn's stop.
No, so you hear and feel more than see now. Cracking and tearing sound coming from the cocoon.
What the fuck?
And the voice now isn't in your head, but it's actually coming into your ears, and it says, in a very calm and composed voice, I would prefer it if you avert your eyes. I'm in a state of undress.
Kieran's like just shrugs and just looks away. I mean, that's not something that Kieran gives a shit about.
Yeah.
Out of
I'm
all the
blind,
people
dude.
to
I can't
her,
see you
this
even
is
if I
probably
wanted
the
to.
tamest person.
I might have to cover Dusty's eyes though.
Dusty's
I'm not
Dusty's
hungry
outside.
anymore.
Yeah, Dusty's
All
outside
right.
the room.
Just
And
trying to
after maybe 10-15 seconds after the cracking sound, the lights in the room come on and all the cobwebs are gone. Lady Mytasian, as she stood in in Thrice when you first met her in her kind of like musketeer-esque outfit, is standing before you, looking a little bit younger, but I mean, not that that really mattered in the first place. That was maybe more choice than anything else. And she is holding this long, silver-looking, shard-like piece of metal that you see seems to be tarnished. There's like oily black grease covering parts of it. Some parts have lost their shine. You see maybe a crack or two in it. And she holds it up and says, I'm afraid it's not in the best condition, but I think
Still work.
I think for the purposes we need here, it should still work. I think the entity inside you should be significantly less of a challenge than the one inside me was. And
Alright.
in an instant, before you can like even have time to blink, it's between your ribs. And ow! First off, the first thing you feel is pain. Like, oh, funny enough, like the rapier was her weapon of choice, and this kind of motion she is absolutely fucking quick at making. You saw her do a few of these kind of puncturing stabs in very rapid succession. You get the impression that if she was trying to poke you for real with that sword, you wouldn't stand a fucking chance. You'd be riddled with holes
Right.
very quickly. And yeah, after that, like, badumf, you start to, like, you feel your heartbeat and you start to go very disorientated and delirious. And you felt this before. This is the same similar feeling to when Fianna managed to briefly separate the two of you. But it hurts this time. It hurts real bad.
Okay.
Are you?
Bless you.
And I assume, but I'm going to ask anyway. You're not resisting this, are you?
No. Like it hurts, but it like I think Kieran probably expected it to hurt, so
And you see her pulling a figure that you've seen before. This gold entity is being pulled out of your body, and almost like it's impaled on a fork, and a hungry person is like pulling it out. It's impaled in the same place in the chest where the heart would be. And it's writhing. It's flailing its arms, flailing its head around, and it looks like it's silently trying to scream. And the last thing you kind of see as it's kind of hard to maintain consciousness a little at this
Yeah.
point. And as it separates from your body, all you feel is cold and numb. And the last thing you see is its head kind of fall backwards, and you make eye contact with it, and a single golden tear rolls down its cheek before it's disintegrated and absorbed by the hand of Mytasian. And you're fading quickly. You no longer have a heartbeat.
Oh,
And then the next thing you feel as kind of everything goes black is pudum. And color starts to rush back. And as you come to, you look down at your chest, and it's not a silver spear inside your chest cavity, it's now the hand of Lady Mytasian.
oh god.
And she pulls it out of your chest, and you can see because you're only wearing like a simple shirt now, you don't really wear armor.
Right, yeah.
You can see kind of like Dragon's Dogma style even. that this wound very quickly closes, and beneath the wound, you get just before it closes, you get a glimpse of something that looks purple and black before it closes, and yeah, you have a heartbeat again, and warmth and color start to rush back, and she looks back at you and she says, "You can borrow that for a time, but when your life comes to a natural end, I will come and collect it."
Shouldn't be all that long, especially not for you.
Not for me, maybe. Hopefully, I'm kind of entering a new chapter of my own life. No, I wish you all the best. You should have a full and long life. Here's another question, though. You no longer, I believe, should have any power. I mean, you have the strength of your arm and your sword, but just go ahead and try a spell, a smite.
Sure, like Kieran will just take their sword and kind of swing it around.
Yeah, you got nothing. You're running on empty.
Huh.
Do you want some of that back?
I think I'm done with that.
I can respect that. If you desire, maybe not the same power, but a similar power, to fight again, maybe you find something that you want to fight for again at some point in your life, come back to me, and you can serve a new patron. One that will take you far less for granted.
Oh shit, it means herself.
Well, I'll keep that in mind.
I wish you the best, Kieran. I'm going back to sleep. I forgive you for I forgive you for disturbing my beauty sleep. That does seem like a fairly significant order of business on your itinerary. I can understand it, as annoying as it was.
Yeah.
Don't ever disturb me again.
Everybody
Fair
gets
enough.
one.
Thank you.
Thank you. See yourself up, please.
Yeah, I'll turn and start heading out.
Hey, you still got ice breath at least.
That's cool.
Yay.
Karen's gonna go start their potato farm.
Yeah.
So, you still have all of your stats. You still have the Zweihander. You can still hit things and do that D12. No more spells, no more lay on hands, any paladin abilities at all. Yeah,
Yep.
you're basically an NPC now, kind of.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean that's kind of
Yeah,
that's where I was hoping and thinking that was going to head. So
yeah. Yeah, maybe it's also best not to poke around and to see too much what's going on inside your chest, keeping you alive.
yeah, that's fine. We're you know
Don't think too much about
I'm
that.
here to hit things. I'm not really here to try to figure. I'm sure Asmolian would be fascinated by what's inside my chest, but
So, what's Kieran's plans now? Just live in Middleton?
Yep.
Okay,
gonna start a potato farm.
nice.
So once upon a time, you kind of made this pact with this entity, almost like looking for salvation, right?
Right.
Do you feel like Kieran found that salvation, or is it more that Kieran realized that salvation was meaningless? The only thing you ever really needed was just a purpose.
I think it's more that, like, I think Kieran found a way to redeem themselves by traveling with this group and, like, helping them, you know, I guess finish what they were doing and that sort of thing. And I think there's some peace to that.
Yeah.
You know?
Ah. That's a
Like,
full ass character arc.
That was a
yeah,
full ass
I
character
feel
art.
it. I feel it.
Yay!
Pachi pachi.
Rip Karen.
Now they're going to go back to Middleton and just kind of take it easy, I think.
You could actually just go hang out with the clans with the
Oh, they'd love you.
They would actually, and you'd be able to get into scraps whenever you feel like it.
Oh, you mean the tribe?
They might.
And the Goliaths, I'd imagine they like potatoes.
But I could also see them being like, just like having like a farm in Middleton and like being around the people too, just to
Yeah.
be something there that like deters people doing stupid shit, because they're still strong. It's not like they can't still take somebody down a notch.
And it's not like potential enemies who know that you're not a paladin anymore.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention this, but every member of the Hounds of Middleton, of course, has an honorary membership of the tribe.
Yeah. Wait, even Miliana?
Yeah, especially Miliana.
Yeah.
God, that's so interesting. That's not at all how I kind of thought Karen's story would go.
Yeah.
I
It's
am
nice.
really curious to see alternate universe Lady Mytasian servant Death Knight Kirin.
Yeah.
Hey,
Ah.
I mean, doesn't
Definitely.
mean that couldn't happen, like, just in the future, like as a post note type thing,
Yeah.
She's
Hey,
always welcome.
maybe Kirin, maybe like, let's say for example, maybe in a few months or a year's time, Hatsu has Monday nights free regularly again, and Kirin realizes that they'll never be able to settle down.
Boom, warlock.
Well, I was actually thinking, like, maybe like some kind of dark Oathbreaker paladin.
That'd be cool too.
I was thinking more like a dark paladin than a warlock.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that archetype. I've never been able to play it myself.
Yeah.
Oh, we'd go together so well.
That's
But yeah.
cool. Okay, so that means that I don't necessarily have to babysit Kirin now. It's
Right,
kind of-
right. Yeah.
Kirin has a place, and it's not with the party anymore. It's
Yeah.
with Middleton. If Crackneck ever comes back, or like a situation like that, Kirin would probably be on the streets with that Zweihander,
Hell yeah.
smacking some bitches up. But
Never too
Wait,
far away.
yeah, didn't Crackneck's corpse go missing or something?
oh, you already dealt with
We
that.
saw it.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
Royale.
one of the players in the final of the Royale actually had him in a coffin,
Mm-hmm.
and then after those people were defeated, Bogador stabbed it to fuck with his ice spear. So if he is still around, there's not much left of him.
Was there anybody who missed the Bogador report?
Oh, I don't think Hatu heard about that.
Spoiler alert, I've definitely watched that episode, so.
Oh, what you mean? What I
Yep.
did, not the report.
Oh,
I'm
right.
not saying anything, but I've totally watched it, so.
No, there was a report.
Ah.
There was Please DM me your thoughts, by the way, Hatu. I'd be interested to know
Okay,
what
here.
you think.
No,
I'll
it
do
was-
right now. Here, I'll do it right now. It's real
you
quick.
bitch.
It was like...
I think I know what's
Literally,
coming.
Fuck you.
There was always going to be one.
Wait, someone.
Always
Oh.
gonna be one.
But yeah, like the group that we sent out to look for Bogador, they like came back to us with the report.
Jared, what was the
Yes.
report? Mr. Notes.
Oh. I want to jump on that door as well, just before we forget. Let me get it.
I'm thinking that this 2-month point is the point that we maybe pick up on next session, because I feel like a lot of stuff kind of comes to a head at
Yeah,
the Bogador report. It's
yeah,
probably about the
exactly.
time Kirin and Dusty return. As Merlian
Has a lot to do.
has cracked the first level of the prophecy. Flynn's up and walking again. Mila's got a house going.
I'm gonna go see my
Got a
parents
limb.
and have tea with Dusty, and somebody else might need a favor. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'll
okay.
say that like the next session begins post Bogador report.
Okay. I have
yeah.
it here.
When would you say the tournament was? Was it like at the end of the 2-month period or like in the middle?
I would say maybe near the end of the 2-month period. It's definitely in the second month.
So
Maybe near the
yeah,
beginning.
you'd have to like get back to me on like how the situation evolves with the other tribe leaders and stuff. And I'd definitely be looking to play some.
That's an evolving situation.
Mhm.
You've kind of got everything out of this second month in that. In as far as that goes, anything more would happen over time from this point forward.
Yeah, I mean that's all I was wondering about. How that's gonna evolve. Okay, cool.
Do you want me to read my notes now, or read them at the start of next time?
Read them now for Hatse.
So they think they found his trail, but he's not alone. They're more proficient in plane hopping than the people we hired.
Yeah, I bet they are.
They've been traveling between dangerous planes, like the Hells, Elemental Plains, Shadowfell, traveling with hooved creatures, and traveling with a purpose.
Yeah, and also
with
traveling
Ilna.
with groups between 3 and 15 individuals.
The people we hired felt like they were being followed.
Or they were acting like they were being followed.
I think a bit of both.
Yeah, I think they knew they were being followed, but didn't do anything about it because, well, yeah, they knew they weren't like a threat, I guess.
And I wasn't sure I entirely understood this, but the Abyssal King of Demons Tower was sundered. But that was something that
Wasn't that what we did?
already happened, right?
Oh no. That's something. Yeah, that's something they did.
Not the. I would say more Anne. Yeah. Yeah, down in the abyss, they found in a place that they were very tentatively poking around because this was a absolute no-go area. But the trail led here, and there was a lot of them on the trail, and they wanted to know what happened when this band that Bogador was traveling in arrived at this tower of this demonic king. And when they got to the tower, it was sundered, ruined, and signs of battle all over.
So they're very powerful.
Yes.
Alright.
They said they're strong and fast than they were.
You guys all knew Bogador, you could do all that anyway. He's that good.
Yeah, I'm sure he's just a like level 25 ranger.
Yeah, I mean, like he's just been pulling his punches the whole time.
Yeah.
So now it's only Jared, Frank, and Dave who don't know the full situation with Bogador now.
No, don't say that because they're gonna fucking look it up.
I'm not gonna
I
look
mean,
it
to
up.
be fair,
Yeah.
if they were going to look it up, they would have done it by now.
To be fair, I honestly thought that Frank was going to look it up.
I definitely looked it up once I said that I wasn't gonna be able to be
Yeah.
involved
Yeah.
anymore because I wanted
Yeah.
to know. I wanted to know. I was so fucking mad.
I can't wait for that to pay off, but it might be a while.
Yeah. Since Dusty came to see my Tassian, for his own reasons as well, feeling worried and just super impatient while Kieran was in there, especially when the doors were bolted. He's pretty much waiting. As soon as the door opens, he wants to like jump in before it bolts again.
I'm assuming you just bump right into me.
Yeah,
Well,
kind
like,
of.
trying to squeeze past you.
It bumps into Kieran's crotch.
You're trying to walk past me?
Yeah, like as soon as you open the door.
Are you trying to run into the center of the room? Like what's?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to stop you.
What?
Like, why would I let you? She just told me to fuck off. Why would I let you go into the room?
I came here for reasons as well.
She's not really in the mood, man. She
can
might
work
try
on
to
it.
kill you.
I'll figure it out.
All right, I'm gonna let you go, but I'm stepping out of the room.
Okay.
So you go into the room.
Yes.
This empty. From the torchlight from outside the room, you can see it's empty, and there's just this human-sized cocoon in the center of the room.
Okay. I wrestle my way over.
No, there's no more cobwebs. They've all been vanished.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I want to stand over it.
Okay, so you know in JoJo's when the menacing thing just fills the entire screen.
No, but I think I can imagine.
Yeah, the Japanese character for menacing just fills the entire fucking screen. You're getting that kind of vibe right now.
My tasks, yeah. Did you get my messages?
It's
Hello?
He's gonna die.
I cast Shield of Faith. Hello? I cast
The
Death
Rapid
Ward.
5 minute's gonna be
sorry,
so
I'm laughing at the
long.
fucking picture I just linked.
Oh, it is.
Wait, where?
In general. No,
Jesus.
no, wait, this is better. This is better.
Oh my god.
Fucking
You see a
love
pinprick
JoJo's.
pricks of light in the darkness.
Do I see eyes?
A very irritated voice comes into your mind and says, "What is it, Dusty?"
Hello. So, you know that time I offered to help you, regrow body stuff?
The
Yeah?
you're literally referencing the most annoying conversation you had with her, and you can
Well-
tell that the irritation is intensifying slightly.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm not as good as I made myself out to be. But you are. Can you grow things for me? Please?
Silence.
You see, the thing is, I mean, even if it's like a vampire, I'll take it.
Are you saying you wish to be a vampire?
I mean, it doesn't have to be a vampire, but something different. You can experiment if you'd like.
You're Dusty. You and your friends have done an immense service to me, and
You're welcome.
I was willing to extend to each of you a small favor. Your presence here is rapidly consuming that favor.
I do apologize.
If you wish to seek an audience with me, for once in your life, Dusty, state something clearly and with clear purpose and intent. What do you want from me?
You've changed bodies Can you make me a new one?
I can do this. What's the price you're willing to pay?
I don't know if I'd have any information.
What is the price that you are willing to pay?
Whatever you need.
Anything?
I know you have plans. Oh, clearly, you're in a cocoon.
The lights fade. And very much like the menacing toilet, two flashes of light in the darkness. Two cold, piercing, silver eyes peering at you from the darkness now. And soft footsteps approaching you as the eyes get closer. And the room grows cold.
I just take a deep breath and close my eyes.
Dusty, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I have very little patience for you. I find you irritating. I find you unnecessary. How much am I allowed to change?
Wait, do you not have like anything specific in mind you want to change it? If I'm breaking
Let's
the
keep
magic.
this. Let's keep this one-on-one. Yeah.
Anything but my mind.
Now a halfling.
The eyes squint a little in the darkness, and a soft and slightly terrifying chuckle, and almost Cheshire Cat-like. The eyes are kind of swimming, and it's hard to keep a pinpoint on where they are.
A small part of me.
Your mind, you say. That's funny, Dusty. That's probably the most worthless part of you. And you can hear footsteps walking around the room. You still haven't told me what you're willing to give. There's Patience here. She's just softly stepping around the room, the eyes swimming, and there's no logical path to where she's stepping. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 steps to your left, sometimes it's 3 or 4 steps to your right. She's just waiting for you. She's letting you sweat a little bit, waiting for you to think of an answer.
I don't have many loyalties. And I very much have room for him. I know you don't like me, but I like you. I don't know what your plans are, but I would accept them.
Worthless, all of it. What use have I for loyalty? I have enough loyalty for any purpose I need. What use have I for you liking me? It matters not. What use have I for your interest in my plans? You'll be part of them whether you're interested or not. Come on, Dusty. Offer me something of value. I want to hear you say it. She's got all day, Dusty.
Yeah. You don't want me.
I never said I don't want you. It's just which parts of you. You've offered me loyalty. You've offered me love. You've offered me interest.
A body.
I don't need those things.
Mm-hmm.
The thing you have asked for comes at a heavy cost, and a price must be paid.
My future.
What was that, Dusty?
My future.
You see in the darkness, the eyes turn and look at you, and beneath them, a wide smile starts to grow, with two little teeny tiny fangs.
I can't give you my past,
Oh no, keep going.
but I can give my future.
I gladly accept. And you black out.
Okay.
One of the Kieran, you're kind of holding far back, right?
Yeah, like I just walked outside basically just to wait. Cause I figure he's just doing some bullshit like he always does.
Yeah.
I mean, this is next level bullshit, but yeah.
I fucking got you, Dusty.
I mean, it's,
This is
it
payback for all of the fucking bullshit. All of my NPCs you've cut off and annoyed. My
hey,
Tassian is my payback incarnate.
I admit that to begin with, I was a bit rude, and I am sorry for that.
Oh,
But I have-
Dusty, it's quiet time now.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna lean back.
No, you're blacked out. That's
Yeah,
it.
no, I
It's
mean
black.
me. I'm
Oh, right.
leaning back.
Okay. Okay, so Kieran, yeah, you're just kind of like, maybe even like out in the castle ruins, just kind of enjoying the view a little bit, kind of waiting as you have before for Dusty to stop pissing around and catch up.
Yeah.
And the orc comes up the stairs, and she looks a little bit perturbed, and she just says, Dusty's not going to be joining you on the return home.
Why is that?
He's with her now.
He did something fucking stupid.
Maybe. I don't know. It depends what he wants, but I know this much. If he did something really stupid and pissed her off, she would have kicked him out.
Right.
She owes you, in her mind, she owes you a favor, and her favor most likely would have been not to kill him.
Right.
I think that it's likely, I've seen this before. It's likely that what this means is that he's made a deal with her, and God knows what that might be. But she has told me that he will find his way back to you when it's ready.
Well, if it were anyone else, I probably would run back in there and try to kill them. But
I mean, you can
think
try, but
she's-
I think
no.
as low as your chances are, they're probably significantly lower than they were an hour ago.
Right. My point is, I don't think she has any reason to lie. So, she says
Yeah.
I'll see him again, then I'll see him again.
I believe so. I think you will.
And I will head home.
Oh, Kieran's heading back alone.
Yeah.
It's quieter though on the way back.
It's kind of sad.
Dusty, I'm gonna be DMing you some shit.
Okay.
The fuck? Why did you do that?
I have so much I want to say, but I won't.
I know,
Well,
I know
there
why
will
he
be time
did
for
that
that.
because he's got a level 13 rogue he's been planning for fucking ages, and he just wants to get rid of Dusty.
It's already in another campaign.
Hey, you will get Dusty back. It's just, you know.
Look, and thing is, other reason why Kieran wouldn't be worried about it is, that, I mean, she did leave an open invitation to come help her out whenever, so Kieran can just come back and say, hey, what do you need me for? And we'll probably
Yeah.
find Dusty, so it's fine.
Cool. Okay, so,
Yeah.
yeah, let's leave it there.
Cool.
You're laughing, but you're the one who started that.
Nervous laughter.
It's nervous laughter.
Oh, there's good memes for nervous laughter. Let's see if I can find some. Yeah. Does anyone want to talk Camelot stuff while we're here?
Sure.
Sure.
I need to go to bed because I've got to get up really early tomorrow.
Go to
Bye-bye.
bed.
Bye, Dave.
Bye-bye.
But wait, my character's already done, apart from background, which I need to do at some point, but that's not doing important. But my character's a badass.
Yeah, he is.
Alright guys, good night.
Good night, Dave.
Good night.
I'm gonna go get a glass. One sec.
He needs a glass. See, I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I resolved my character's arc very nicely. And here is all this new shit that Dusty's gonna deal with.
I'm conflicted how I feel about this session now.
It was real nice, and then it got real weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, well, we're done with Midrealm for now.
There for now, I think.
Okay, yeah.